Tonight, to start our meeting with our invocation, we were going to have Garris Hudson here this evening, but he has had a death in the family and won't be able to join us. He'll be back in 2 weeks. But Brad Spurlock leading us in prayer. So if you'd please bow your heads, join us as we go to the Lord in prayer.
All right, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight, Father. We want to thank you and praise you for your many blessings that you've given us in all of our lives. And Father, so many blessings, Lord, we can't count them all just in one day. But Father, we just thank you this opportunity we have to come and to be a part of this city. And Lord, these people that are representing the city, Lord, to make laws. And Father, I pray, Lord, you give them insight and wisdom. Father, help carry out the business day to day. Father, I pray this evening, Father, Lord, many people here that are dealing with pain, going through things and heartaches in their families. Father, we're praying, Lord, you'll reach down with your almighty hand, Father, and Lord, and touch those needs today. Father, and we're going to agree as a city as one, Lord, that you can meet these needs. Father, we ask you once again just to lead, guide, and direct everything that's going to be said and done, that we might honor you in our speaking and coming together tonight. Father, we'll give you all the praise, honor, and glory, for it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Spurlock. Appreciate that.
I'd like to call the June 2nd Committee of the Whole meeting in order, please. Roll call.
Daniel?
Here.
Misty?
Here.
Tim?
Here.
Larry?
Here.
Mike?
Here.
Mick?
Here. Next, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I seek approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
Sir.
if I may, I'd like consideration for amending the agenda to include 2 items. One would be discussion of a arbitration specialist in regards to the $1.95 million arbitration that's been presented to the council. I think everybody's aware of that. And the second one, there's been discussion, but I thought it was going to be on this agenda to provide nothing more than a scope of services to allow the CPA firm that made a presentation last time to actually consider, so they can work some numbers up. It's not taking any action one way or the other, and just give them a list of things we'd like to do. With those two amendments, I'd make motion that the agenda is accepted with those changes.
If I might add, there was an email that I received today from, I believe all of us did, from the newest council member, Mr. Wagner, asking questions about the sales tax reports. That may not be appropriate this evening without the mayor here to answer those questions, but
I didn't expect that to be an agenda item. I was just asking as a dialogue between the mayor and the council.
okay. So if you don't care that that's a discussion point this evening?
No, that wasn't my intention. It was just simply to bring forward a set of facts.
So you're asking to add scope of service for Landmark and a discussion regarding the Goodwin and Goodwin arbitration case?
Yes, for clarification, the Landmark is simply provide them with a scope of services that they would be able to come back and give a hard bid or quote. And the other item is a discussion of a specialized arbitration litigator. For the record, I'll make my reasoning for that is we've got a one-man show sitting down here representing us as the city attorney. Connors and Winters, before merger with Zane Ellis, was about 100. Well, now they're 800 attorneys deep. So we might want to call in a few extra help.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
Council?
If I may, those are both 2 pretty heavy items to add to a pretty heavy agenda. The scope of services thing that you're talking about, do you have a written handout to provide the council? Okay.
I do.
Is it similar to what we might have seen from Mr. Montez a couple of weeks ago?
I'm not sure what Mr. Montez presented a couple of weeks ago, but
it was an email.
Essentially, it is a checklist. It's a la carte. Fill out your deals, and that's all we're saying. You kind of see what's going to be presented to them.
Okay.
And
As far as the second item, Mr. Farrar, being that this is obviously a pretty substantial legal matter, and I know we're just discussing, and I've got no problem, and I'm sure you don't either, with seeking outside counsel to assist with this. Is this something that you would consider, since you've given us food for thought, table until the next meeting for discussion?
No, I don't think that's a prudent idea. We're going to have pretty tight deadlines on the
Okay.
arbitration issue, and then we'll be behind, getting someone retained to defend us.
Is this out of the purview of the municipal league, or is this something that we're going to definitely need to seek specialized counsel?
My understanding is this will not trigger municipal league coverage. This is a breach of contract case. I don't think their coverage provides anything on that.
Okay, all right.
So then for the record, we would be adding items Q and R to this evening's agenda for discussion.
Yes, that would be my intentions if we had that, and I made a motion to do that. So if we have a second without further discussion, I think would be the proper.
If I may speak.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner, for bringing those two items forward. I'm okay with listening to both of those items tonight. I think we've got an obligation to listen to our attorney and hear out that one. And then as far as the statements of qualifications or the list of items you want to provide to the a CPA firm, Mr. Latham did have a discussion with us, and this is prior to your appointment, but asked us to provide him with a list of things that we would look for, just kind of to go directly to him. So I did send him a pretty lengthy list of things. So he's got that. We can have that discussion as well to get you up to speed. And if there's anything else, I'm sure he's a little obliged to have that included. So I'll make your second.
Koziak.
Just one more point. Is there any way we could get a copy of what you emailed
Yeah,
Mr.
absolutely.
Montez, so we can kind of do a side-by-side comparison? I think that's fair to both you and Mr. Wagner.
Yep.
And probably Mr. Latham, who's asked for this, and the council as well. So obviously, since it's way down the list, Ms. Madeline, probably hit a break if we could just get a printout copy of what Mr. Montez has provided, because I know it's a rather long list.
I'll send it to you, Maddie. That way you. So we got a first and a second, correct?
Anything
Correct.
else? Okay, roll call.
Misty,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes,
Mick,
Mr. Wagner.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes. All right. Next, I seek approval of the May 5th Committee of the Whole minutes.
I would like to make a comment on that if I could, Mr.
Please.
Chairman. Item H in there, that was one of my discussion points, and about the resolution to establish a procedure for alderman vacancies. And in that title, it has the verbiage for the position of Ward 1, Position 2. I'd like to strike that from those minutes because that particular item does not actually cover that specific ward, but it's for the entire council altogether.
At any time in history, not specifically the one that just happened.
That's correct. So with that amendment, I didn't see anything else. I'd make a motion to pass that.
I'll second that with the aforementioned change.
Roll call.
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mick. Oh, I'm sorry, didn't hear you.
Abstain.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty.
Yes.
Next, we we'll take comments from citizens. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and please step forward if you have anything to say.
Tammy Graham, 1984 South Penalto Road. Okay. I'm here again to discuss the odors that are coming out of the lift station on South Penalto. On the 15th of May and the 18th of May, I began to smell again the stench that has been determined to be emanating from the lift station. So what I'd like to request is an explanation as to why the discharge permit was never signed. I didn't even realize, I didn't know that. I thought that there had been some resolution to that, and it was never signed. And here we are. As I stated in my email to City Council, I'd like to know where we are with the problem. Is it still the same problem? Where are we in the resolution stage? I see a lot of lift station waste management people here tonight. I'd like to know, I'd like an update, and I'd like facts, please. I don't really care for history. And going forward, it would make sense to me that a representative from Water and Sewer were to attend the waste management meetings. They're supposed to be, I guess, the expert, subject matter expert, and we're dealing with the horrible waste management. So if you're going to expend so much time and effort and money into going after the stench that supposedly came from waste management, which in fact came great in part from the lift station, why can't we address a lift station problem with some finality, please? And pretty much, I think that we deserve relief from this. It's been going on for years. You've had evidently the authority to address it long before now, and we're kicking the can down the road. Transparency would be nice. Accountability would be nice. And I think this is doable. I can't understand why I'm standing here. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Anyone online? Moving on. Next, we have, on old business, we have a discussion of an ordinance establishing the mayor as a full-time position with benefits. Misty.
So this is still on the table. It was requested to table it. This is going from a part-time to a full-time position, so that we have someone in the seat helping us run the city. I'm speaking in the mic. This is still on the table. It was asked to be tabled. It's going from a full-time to a part-time position. And I know there were some comments on the pay and one of the other things in the resolution. So opening this up for discussion. We've talked about it, I think, twice now.
Did anything, I'm sorry, Mr.
Nothing
Chairman,
has changed.
is it in the packet?
No, it was handed to us. It
Oh,
was-
okay, it's on the desk. Gotcha, thank you.
Anyone have comments?
I'm still going.
Before comment, shouldn't we have a motion and a second before discussion occurs?
Correct.
Correct.
I didn't hear a motion.
There was not a motion. I apologize. You like to make a motion, Misty? Seeing as how this is your,
I've heard how they feel, so I'm not running again, so I'm leaving this up to the ones that are running.
so this will die for lack of a motion?
Okay.
Correct.
All right, moving on. New business, we have a presentation from architects regarding the present status of the police station.
My name is Tim Maddox. I'm principal at DMX Architecture. I'm the architect of record on the new police department. I've got Zach Johnston. He's a civil engineer on the project. We have a couple slides and a little bit of an update on the project. So, Zach, do you want to start first?
So, good evening, council. First part's just a quick overview of what we're doing with the civil design on the parcel. The police station will have 2 points of access. We have some public parking up front, but the majority of the parking is going to be secured behind a chain link security fence with a security gate. The site will include a landscape plan with road compliant sidewalk. We're also doing a large detention pond in the backside. So if you're familiar with the property, you probably know the old pond that's back there. We are going to be taking it out, but we will be making it better from a hydraulic perspective. So with that, we've worked this over twice now. So first we had a larger site design first go around. This is a reduced version to kind of cut down on some costs, but happy to answer any questions you might have with the civils or the architectural package that's coming next.
You go ahead and go to the third slide. So I was going to walk you through, if you want to zoom in, if there's a possibility to do so. I'll try to walk you through the plans real quick. Currently, the building is 11,300 square feet. As Zach mentioned, we did a first run. Our schematic design was a larger building, a lot more site work. The building at that time was close to 16,000 square feet. It was the pie in the sky. Let's see what we can do. It did come in over budget, and we've been working back towards the budget numbers. So walking through the plan, if you start at the kind of the northeast corner, our main entry will be facing plan north. We have the main lobby space. Running clockwise, you have the training area that provides training for both Tontitown and for other departments to come in. Just south of that is the Sally Port, and then below that we actually have the evidence area and processing. And as you move along the bottom, we have a kind of a courtyard space that could be used for adding onto in the future, as well as space with the site plan now. We can add on to the west to a degree, and then a lot more to the south as the police department grows. Because we did the larger plan, we know what those would look like. So we've already kind of planned for some of that tentatively down the road when Chief Jennison needs that. Just to the west of that courtyard space is a gym area, and then you have CID and patrol area, and then as you move north of that, you have more administrative spaces, office spaces, and then as you work your way back around to the very center of the building, we've located most of the plumbing, public restrooms, private restrooms, and then a break area that's centrally located. Slide. The next three slides will be just renderings. This one is from the east looking west of the front facade. The light gray is intended to be a natural stone finish. The window, the clear story window above, opens up into the training room, allowing some natural light flow in the training room. Just to the right of that, you also see the main entry and some natural light falling in there as well. And then as you go further to the right, that's the central or the administration portion of the building, which will also be a masonry product, probably a dark gray or a brick. Sorry. Go to the next slide. And then as we turn the corner, now you have the opposite view from the street. We do have some accent panels. Those are metal architectural panels that we'll use that will help the budget. You can see the fencing. Just beyond the fencing on the far right is kind of a conference area, a small conference room. And then that back corner again is the patrol and CID. Slide. And then as we run around towards the back on the right side, you see the clear story again for the training room, the stone below, the overhead door for the Sally Port. And as you turn the corner, you can see kind of a carved out area that is the courtyard space, and then the brick again starting for the patrol and CID area. So just a couple updates on schedule. We are at 50% CDs, and Baldwin and Shell is providing cost estimates for us. I was hoping to have that today. We do not have it today. It should be on Friday when we receive that. And once we get the results of that, we will continue to work towards the budget, which is between 5.5 and 5.8 million. And then probably, if everything goes well, we should be going out to bid sometime after the 4th of July, whether it's a few weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. I know we've got another agenda item that's also related to this, so I'm happy to answer any questions.
Misty?
So Corey, I have a couple questions for you. So we talked about training room size so that we could do classes here and save us some money as well as offer some, is this going to be big enough for what you need?
Yes.
Okay, and then your evidence, we know that we are tiny here on this, but is that, you feel like that's going to be enough space for the future evidence wise?
This is roughly quadrupled our space.
Okay, just those are my two questions.
Sir, I am a newcomer, but I know a little bit about building since I've built a few. And the question that I've got, I've been hearing cost per square foot in the range of $400 to $500, which might be acceptable in Class A offices, but I'm assuming the interior and the structure of this building is similar to this city hall. Is that correct?
It would be a similar finish out. I mean, you've got office spaces.
Yeah.
You do have, like in the Sally Port, the evidence storage, some of those things are going to be CMU block walls.
Yeah.
For security reasons and durability.
I understand,
Yeah.
but you're saying hardened by the fact of just the masonry block, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, any special things, bulletproof glass and all that?
We do have some locations where we will have bullet resistant
Okay.
glass, yes.
Well, I know you said Baldwin Shell, and they're well respected. They're also high priced. But I was just wondering, I mean, I know currently there's buildings similar to this in nature in terms of finish, and you're looking at $250 top for most of the finish. So I'm just trying to get my mind wrapped around how we come up with $400 to $500 a square foot on a building that's not really what I call Class A. I'm not talking about Chubby Hunt Towers and Pinnacle. We're talking about Tontitown, Arkansas, and buildings similar to this. That seems awful high to me.
It's market value that we're seeing in most of our buildings for these type of projects. And just to clarify, Baldwin Shell is only providing the cost estimate. It is a hard bid project, and so they've not been awarded the project. They're just providing cost information for us.
Let me ask you a question. Hard bid is kind of like a fixed price on building a house. And most contractors will be glad to give you a fixed price, and they add about 50% to it, so they know they don't come up on the short end. Why would this not make sense? As Mr. Clark alluded to with a presentation, I think from Garver, about more of cost plus a shared risk factor. I forgot the term that James used, but seems like a hard cost we're asking and inviting for high bids.
Well, the hard bid process, two responses. The hard bid process actually provides more competitive numbers, and as we have the project detailed, specified, everybody is bidding the same project, and so we would be selecting the low bidder through that.
I understand.
And so that's part of it. The other part is a question that's not for me. I did not make any decisions on how the contractor procurement would take place.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'm asking that question now as a fiduciary that looks after the interest of the city.
Yeah.
So maybe we should address that at some point in the future, or tonight, or whenever you guys want to. Thank you.
It sounded like there was an inherent question at the end of that didn't get answered. I'm not entirely certain that was rhetorical.
So this was discussions with Mark and I at the start of this project due to previous projects that were done in the city and the costs that continue to rise with change orders and things of that nature. And the decision was made to go forward with a hard bid on the project.
I can only say you should be able to eliminate those change orders and things if they've got a complete set of plans on the front end. So you invite surprises when you do halfway bid specifications.
I've got a question too, Mr. Chairman.
Please.
Your Sally Port, it looks like you can only fit one car in there right now with these plans. You don't technically have a Sally Port here, but you have two garages here that you're using on this end of the building. Do you feel
Madeline, can we see
that's
that,
a-
please, the Sally Port or the
Do you feel that that's a
overall view?
wise decision to just have one single car, or do you think that might be something we look at changing? And
So what we're planning down the road in the future of this is to have an area that sits off just to the south of it that will be covered
Okay.
for future growth and expansion into.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we're running into with the space that we have is what is intended in that area is just for when we bring in somebody in custody and we don't want to walk them around anywhere else.
Exactly.
And so I don't want to invite room for clutter or extra stuff to be stored in that area. And having that extra. The other part of that is if we have any kind of vehicle or evidentiary value that we need to secure inside, that's what that area is
Okay.
meant for as we go down the road. Depending on when we get the next cost estimate back, some of the buildings, if we're able to put that in there, the back portion will have an overhang for parking under. But then just south of the building in an area is where we have plans down the road to build an additional structure for.
Perfect.
Extra
That
space
was
there.
my next question.
Yes.
Do we have additional land that we can,
Yes.
I mean, we're good with setbacks. We're not gonna needing waivers or variances or anything to get that kind of stuff built. Okay.
Correct.
The only other thing I think I'd mention on the Sally Port is the door. The door from the Sally Port into the building is right on that edge of that corner. I'm assuming if you have somebody in custody and you're putting them in the processing room, at that point, they'd go from there. I might move that door closer that way, so they're not having to come down that hall past the evidence room. They'd be directly go across from the processing room.
Mhm.
I know that might hinder the door swing due to a car being there, or even the railing for the garage door, overhead door. And it would swing into the hallway, but I'm looking at that, and that's kind of one of the things, as I am a door and trim guy,
Gotcha.
in my professional thing, that's kind of one of the things I notice is that door's a little further down the way. And so that's just my 2 cents on that part.
Anyone else?
I know that where we generally do the breathalyzers, that's a small space. I don't see something here that's specifically set for that.
Be
But-
included in the
But you know where
processing
that is,
area.
processing.
Yes.
That. We've talked about this before, and I understand, Chief, that when we came in originally, we had gold-plated toilet seats and whatnot, because of course, right? I'm teasing a little bit. It was a little beyond what you were hoping for in a lot of areas, with the marble statues of and all. Are you happy with this now? And if you could wave the magic wand and add something that's not here, what would it be?
Yeah, so the start of this, what we originally designed was kind of the shoot for the stars building and see what we could get into this. These trimmings and cuts are down to exactly what our needs are for this. So also with that, hopefully not in my time, we're planning for future expansions onto this building. And so originally what we had designed, you had administrative wing, you had a training area, and then CID and patrol were split up into the other two corners of the building. And that way allowed us for more opportunity for growth internally and to build that structure as that and grow into it as we grew. Trimming out, I think it was a little over 4,000, right around 4,000 square feet that we cut from the building down to this size. So condensing those areas, this meets all of our needs and any of our space or growth as we're projecting in the future. This meets all those needs, and I don't see expansion on this building in time as your chief.
I think what you told me before, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that's 20 years down the road. Is that about right?
I see this being a ways down the road, absolutely. It's hard to project in Tontitown how fast, and the apartment in 2013 started with 4 of us, and we're sitting at 20 now. So we've seen some fast growth, but over the past couple of years, our calls for service and our incident reports and what we're seeing as far as day-to-day work has kind of hit a plateau, even with the population increase. So we're not seeing or asking for the 3 and 4 officer hires every year. It's been 1 or 2. So kind of hit numbers where we're comfortable and consistent with. But overall on this, I think that this meets all of our needs for growth well into the future. A lot of this is designed with plans at that 10, 15, and 20 and beyond marks of what we'll see on patrol, how many officers are actively working on a patrol shift. Because keep in mind, not everybody will be here at the same time. If we do, we have that training area to house everybody in. But our viewpoints down the road, probably towards the end of my career here, probably be at 4 to 6 officers on every shift on the max. For the foreseeable. So this meets all of those needs. If we do have that many in office doing reports all at the same time, which doesn't happen, but this meets all those growth needs as we look down.
Okay. And this may be a better question for you, Mr. Maddox. And by the way, thank you for being here. Great first name, by the way. It's one of my favorite first names of all time.
Me too.
Good. I've got no other reason for that. It's just a great name. The extra 4,000 feet or so that we might add in the future, where on this particular schematic, this particular view, would that extra 4,000 go?
So we do have, I'll show you on the site plan first. There is some room to the, if north is up, to the southwest corner to go to the west some. And then primarily it would be to the south. Now, obviously you would have some redoing of the parking lot and the drives to do that. But we've got a lot of space over there to work with. If you want to go to the first slide, you can see how much area south of the building we are not really touching. The previous design had another probably, well, all of those parking spaces that are on the south side of the building footprint probably went beyond that with the original idea. Now, if you go to the third slide, so just something, again, this is why we do these exercises in terms of pie in the sky first. If you notice on the west side, we have a corridor kind of centrally located. On the south side, towards the west end, we have a corridor. We also have that open courtyard space. We have multiple opportunities to bring corridors down into expanded space, which allows the circulation to flow should that time come. Now, I may be like Corey, I'm not sure I'll be here in 20 to 25 years to do this, but hopefully if we need it before then, great. If we don't, hopefully we've managed the next 20, 25 years.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both.
You, talking about 4 to 6, I've been in your quarters over there, just visiting. I see you have 5 desks for patrol. Is that going to, 5 stations, whatever you want to call it, is that enough? I mean, I know we've got, you said we've got 20 now, so.
It is, and currently, at any given time, there's not going to be all of those desks filled on a shift. Now, as we grow into the future, we may have 5 officers working a shift at the same time, and that's where that kind of growth there is set up for. What we have now ended up, just how this building ended up being designed, we've got some rather large space back there as an office is referred to. The layout does not work well for our needs, and we are outgrowing that space. But when it comes to the patrol area and the patrol room, we don't have, the goal of this is having the open area around the break room. So when officers are in there, if they're either eating or preparing food or just kind of mingling in an open space, that area is for that purpose. The patrol room there is strictly for coming in to do your paperwork and your reports. As we progress as well, capabilities and what we'll look at doing in the future is the in-car computers that they already utilize, having the capability to do those reports or start those reports in their vehicles when they're out and about patrolling, to where it would limit some of the need to even come back. So what we looked at is if we're progressing to that on the technology side to do that in our vehicles, we can save some of that square footage on the building of not giving that extra space to create more laptop or desktop computers and workstations internally in the building, we plan down the road to start that capability in the vehicles. So when they finish a call, they can park somewhere and start that report, and it'll link with the system at the building. So the other half of that, as this goes on, that's an area of the building that we planned for expansion. So where that hallway comes to the south, where you have the interview room and the patrol report room there, where that exit door is leaving the building, in addition to the building would extend that as a hallway corridor for more space if we need to. The areas that we would see growth would be the administration wing and then obviously in the patrol area. Our CID area is pretty much going to be, from what I can envision, those numbers are going to sustain us for very far into the future. But as that grows, we have that extra area of patrol for them to push into, and then we would add on for the patrol area just to the south of that, extending that corridor. So it would still keep everybody in the same wing of the building. They do work cases together, patrol and CID, so it keeps everybody together to where they're not having to go to the other end of the building, then go down the hallway. So I think for what we're seeing in the future, it meets those needs, but also allows us to have some internal growth in this building without having to add on or do any additions or remodels.
Any more questions, council?
One more question for the chief. You said you had 20 head count right now in the department, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that includes you and everybody.
Yes.
On any given shift, how many officers would you typically have?
Depending on the time, the minimum would be 2 currently.
So to the point that Alderman Artemani brought up, is 5 enough? And you mentioned that there was in-car capabilities now to do some of your reports. It appears like that has got a 2x growth anyway, because I assume that you come off the shift, 2 people might be at the desk at most. So that seems adequate to me for some time in the future.
Yes, and for example, not all, say, our shift on a patrol was 5 officers, not all 5 would be doing a report at the same time. So some of them are still going to be out on the streets patrolling while others would come here to do paperwork and reports. So it would be a rotate out. When they free up, then the others could go in and complete their paperwork or stop somewhere while they're still out in the public and complete it from the car.
Thank you for the explanation.
Anyone else? Well, yes, things how. It was a presentation.
Thank you.
We are finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maddox. Thank you, Chief.
Next, we have a discussion on the acknowledgement of a water sewer audit.
Thank you, sir. If y'all did find it, I left a copy of the audit on the desk for you today. I apologize, I did not get it in the packet. Thought it was in there until this afternoon. Basically, there were no findings. This is just an acknowledgement, as it says, that the council has received it, so that will reflect in the minutes. There were no findings. There were just a couple of suggestions made by the auditors, which I have right here. One was because of Act 605, they suggested that we rename our depreciation reserve account to refurbishment and replacement account. That's also includes the sewer proceeds. Up until now, we have been putting just a percentage of the water proceeds in that account. Pat went back to the first of the year, took out the 5% of the sewer sales. So we are now currently funding that account each month with 5% of the water and sewer sales. The other recommendation they made was updating our parts inventory cost. So we'll be working on that.
Anyone have any questions for James?
I do. Mr. Clark, the date on this audit appears to be April 30th. We're now at the second day in June. it would seem logical that if it was published over a month ago, that this could have been provided to all of this body via email. So we would have time to digest. I never like to look at a multi-page financial with about 5 minutes to look at it, which is what I've had.
Right.
So I would request that going forward, explain to me why the delay was.
I don't know that Pat received it on the 30th. I know it has been at least a couple of weeks ago, so yes, it could have been sent out. But you don't have to approve it, but you can readdress it at the council meeting in 2 weeks.
I understand. I just didn't understand that. But one more question. It's my understanding at Berry and Associates, which is a well-known auditor, we didn't have a statement of qualifications for them on file for several years. I believe that's correct. Or do we have a statement of qualification? If we have, when did we receive it?
You're correct. We did not have one on file, and when I asked them for one, they replied, "What is a statement of qualification?"
That's concerning.
It is. But we are out for CPA firm right now. I assume they're going to assist us with audits in the future. But if not, we will put out an RFQ before doing an audit next year.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Anyone else? All right. Moving on. I'm sorry.
One quick, do you
Please,
need this
Mike.
to go before council? We have to make a formal acknowledgement that we've
Yeah,
seen this?
let's move it to council for formal acknowledgement, please.
And we can have further discussion. That'll give us 2 weeks. We can have further discussion at that point if there's
Yes.
anything that's brought up. So,
Are you sure?
What?
Are you sure we'll be able to have discussion there? Last,
don't-
last city council was a little apprehensive with having discussion at city council. I would hope so, but
being that we just got this,
oh,
I think
absolutely.
the point, I mean, with the caveat,
Well,
do,
okay.
Mr. Farrar, do we need to formally acknowledge, I believe in the past, we've had to formally acknowledge that the council has gotten receipt of these by a vote of council. So
If
I
there's any
think
doubt,
that's what we have to do.
yeah, if there's any doubt, acknowledge it, take them, put it on the agenda for next time and take a vote on it.
So if concerns arise, I'll make the motion that we move it forward to city council with the intent to vote on acknowledgement with the caveat that should concerns come up from aldermen who review this, that it can be further tabled for further discussion at, well,
At some
another
point.
meeting.
Yeah, I mean, you can still have a discussion at a legislative session, right? Just because something's on the agenda for a vote doesn't mean you can't talk about it. You should. That's prudent, so I think that's fine.
Okay, so I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mick,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Misty.
Yes.
Moving to council.
Next, we have a discussion to purchase water meters.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Clark.
Yes, sir. Normally, we purchase water meters in smaller quantities. In changing from the regular meters that we're using to the cellular meters, it's taken a little bit longer to get them. So I would like to make a purchase of a larger quantity. In order to do that, it's going to be over $20,000. So I just need to get approval from the council to do that. And I will have a resolution prepared for the council meeting.
So there's not any paperwork for us to see
I-
tonight?
I
Okay, I'm
put
just
a-
making sure I'm not missing something in my
No, I
packet.
just put a copy of the quote
Oh,
on you.
that's okay. So that's what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So it's,
There was a lot of extra papers on our desk tonight. that
so
we-
it's $38,114.22 for 150 meters.
Repeat that number. I'm sorry, my hearing is not the best. I'm kind of handicapped, but
So the
how
to-
much?
The total cost is $38,114.22 for 150 meters.
Kind of off the subject, but How many meters do you have in your system?
Approximately 3,000.
Okay, so maybe you've already said this, but I'm trying to catch up. What is the attrition rate or replacement rate that you intend to, as you migrate towards central point metering and the other benefits that are afforded by these cap meters? How many do you have in the field that are smart? I call them smart meters now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Currently, there's 75.
and so you got another 100.
150, yes.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I'm able to budget more money next year to be able to install more cell meters.
Well, it's a good point you bring it up because it's never been asked in a meeting that I've attended, but what is your water loss percentage?
Water loss right now is running about 35%.
35, okay. Has AWA, have you compared your water loss for the same size and same or typical size of the system and age of your lines to what maybe a national average would be?
I mean, that number is kind of all over the place,
Yeah.
but it is normally around 30%.
So you're about 5% high.
Some months.
And ultimately, one of the benefits of these meters, which I heard your presentation from both suppliers, but it was overlooked, that with these meters in place and with a node system where you could isolate different regions, you could better isolate where your real water loss area problems are.
Yeah,
So,
that's correct. Once we have a fully deployed cellular system, we can install district metering, and where that we take a smaller chunk of the city, measure what goes into that area.
I'm very familiar with that.
I'm explaining it for everybody else, but yeah.
Well, but the point I asked that question is for that very reason, because unfortunately, I don't think until sometime late last year, this body didn't realize it was the control authority for the water and sewer operation of the city. And so maybe we need to get a little bit more educated on things. Maybe a few work sessions would be in order. But anyway, I digress. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Clark, we've talked about this, part of these, my questions here before. Before we get to that, on this quote, it says applications with 6-foot standard antenna. Please tell me that's a goof. These are 6-inch antennas and not 6-foot
It's
antennas?
a 6-foot cable
It's a
from
6-foot
the
cable.
meter to the meter lid.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. I understand that everybody is a crunchy health guru, but as I mentioned before, there are some people who get really, really upset about these cellular meters. So I understand the reason for them, water loss, et cetera, but we have talked about people opting out before for a charge, but I've never seen anything formally communicated. Is that something that we are communicating, or is that something we just talk about here?
It's something that we are going to communicate.
Okay, when are we going to start that? Because if we've got 75 of these already out, we're about
Right.
to do another 150. I think
I plan on having it on the water bills next month. I had to have our consumer confidence report on there this month, but next month I will have something to the effect the city is beginning to install cellular water meters. If for some reason you have an aversion to this, please let us know, or something like that.
I know that that's an agreement that you made with me some months back. So
Yes,
wanted
I
to
hadn't
put that
forgot
out.
that.
Thank you, appreciate that. And then lastly, where does that $38,114.22 come from, and has it already been accounted for?
It is in the budget. I have a specific line item for meters. I had $100,000 to start the year. I've got about 60,000 left. I didn't want to spend all of that.
Excuse me, Mr. Clark, one more question. In regards to smart meters, I've not seen anything on the web, our city website. that really explains the aspect of a app that goes with these meters. And Mr. Burris may not realize it since he's on WWA Water, but they've been on smart water systems for a while. I'm sure you've got the app.
We do.
But recently, a constituent was pretty perturbed by the fact his water bill doubled. I don't think we've done an adequate job of informing the public that the capabilities with an app on your phone, you receive daily notices of a projected baseline, and if you exceed that, and that, in my opinion, that's one of the biggest advantages of these meters. So maybe we ought to take our light out from under the bushel and shine a little bit.
Right, yeah, you're correct. I mean, we've had, very few of these meters to start with, so I didn't want to get, the word spread out there and everybody be calling, going, I want a cell meter, and, I've only got 75 of them, so. But we're definitely, the ones that we are installing, we're communicating with that customer, letting them know what their options are as far as being able to see.
I know I have one
Readings.
of both WWA and this one, and I'm not sure which one I like the best. They both got pros and cons.
Sure.
Mr. Burris, one more time.
Thank you. Appreciate that. How are we rolling these out? Are they only going into new homes to begin with, the new builds?
What we've done for the last couple of months is if we're having any issues with any meters as far as getting readings off of them through the radios that we're currently using, we're replacing them with cellular meters. We haven't actually, went in a new subdivision yet and just started installing all of them. We just haven't had enough of them to do so. This purchase will allow us to start trying to fill in some of the new subdivisions with the cell meters.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Misty.
I'm really excited about these. I'm hoping to get signed up for one myself soon. I'm really hoping that you can get more in the budget next year, because I think this is where we need to go.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Clark, you said you have 3,000 within the city meters.
Approximately, yeah.
And you've got 75 currently in action, and we're getting another 150. When Mr. Wagner talked about setting up zones so we could see where we're leaking at, how many meters would you say need to be online in order to have a functional system to where we can
all of them,
all 3,000? And plus the new ones we've got coming.
As we fill in, we can start doing some district zones.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's going to take, because of the way our system is built, everything is looped together. We're going to have to fill in some fairly large areas to be able to district meter. Now subdivisions, that's a little bit different story. Even though we do have, two-way feeds on most of them, which is kind of not a good thing in this case. It's a good thing as far as water circulation goes, but if you've got a water line coming into a subdivision from both ends, which you want for fire protection to have the flow, but for district metering, we'll have to put a meter on one end and then close off the valve on the other end, and able to account for the water that's actually going to that particular subdivision.
Yeah. So we've got 150 on this quote here, which is about $40,000, 38 and some change, which you said in your budget you have 100,000. Why are we not going for the full 100,000? Or
I've already purchased some.
Okay, prior to this. So,
yes.
So currently you only have available to you $40,000. So this.
I've got about 60 left. Okay. So I wanted to leave myself a little breathing room in case I need to pick up some 2-inch meters or something, before the end of the year.
Gotcha.
You mentioned a loop system. In my experience, and Zach could probably speak more intelligently to this than me, but in WWA, we had master meters, so you didn't necessarily have to have of course, all of WWA over 8,000 meters, but you could create nodes by master meters, so you could isolate a circle without quite as much complexity. Of course, that's an additional cost too, but
Sure, sure.
It's just a payback.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you have to have a single feed into that area
I
that you're.
understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
May I make one more comment?
Sure.
Please.
Thank you. So, your last comment scared me a skosh. If for us to get the benefits, the great benefits that we've been told about this particular system and all the nodes and all that, then for us to get there, if we have to have those 3,000 meters, all of them up and running, we are $705,113.07 shy, according to the current pricing. That is a big number. And if we've got 22,000, that means we still have to spend $683,113.07 to
That's
get to
correct.
that point. So by the time we get there, this is all obsolete. And we're checking it with our Google glasses or whatever we're wearing, right?
Sure.
So I know I made this comment some years ago, and it wasn't well received by you and others, that it's $750,000 for a really cool toy. If we need to spend $750,000 for a really cool tool, then we need to push to get that in the next budget period. If this is just a toy, then I'm not all that inclined to spend another nickel on it.
Yeah, no, it is definitely a tool. But, and the part that we were talking about as far as the district metering goes and being able to nail down our unaccounted for water, that's what requires almost full deployment. The benefits to the customer, every customer that gets a meter will see the benefits of that by being able to see what their usage is, set alerts on their cell phone, in case they have a leak, they'll be notified and that kind of stuff. But yeah, in order to get the full benefit of the water loss issue, we have to have full deployment.
And are we offsetting the roughly $255 per unit cost as part of where our water rates have gone, or is that something that we are just covering because it's part and parcel to what we do as a city?
We're just covering that. I mean, we were buying meters anyway. The cost for the cell meters is about $50 more than what the meters we were currently buying.
But we're replacing existing meters. We're not just buying
Right.
that are
But they're
$50 less.
are they faulty meters that you're replacing? Is that-
Some of them are, but no, not all of them. And we will be able, some of the newer ones, if we're changing out any that's less than 10 years old, we'll be able to return those and get some credit for them if they have issues.
I've got a couple of questions
All right,
that
Mike.
brought up by the discussion. I think I could second Tim's point there. If we're going to get the full benefits, I think we need to look for a way to get these implemented as quickly as possible.
That's what I'm
Secondly,
looking for, some funding.
And I appreciate that, grants, hopefully. Secondly, I know you talk about the customer has the app that will notify it of problems they may have, a customer may be having with their water system. By the same token, I would assume the city also has that knowledge available to it. Does it notify the customer, hey, you might have a problem with your water?
But also notifies us, yes.
But do we notify the customer of these issues?
Yes.
We do, okay. Another point, can a customer, assume, these are $255 per unit per meter, rather, and I don't know how many people would be wanting to do this if the city's providing them from other people, but I would assume if it's a benefit to the consumer, some consumers may choose to purchase the meters on their own. Are we giving them the option to say, hey, if you want the benefits of this, if it may save you money in the long run, if you come to us with $255, we'll put one of these smart meters at your house.
I hadn't given that much thought, but that's not a bad idea. I don't know that we'll have many takers, but.
It may not, but
yeah.
for some people, if it saves them $255 a year, which it may not, they may see the benefit in 1 year. They may not see it over 10, but it gives them the option to choose whether they want to participate in that program. So I
But
think
it may
that's
go the
something
other
we
way. If you have a faulty meter, you may not be getting charged for all your water. And then it's like, oh,
Well, that may be true too, but Anyway, just
Anyway.
food for thought.
Yeah,
Discussion.
I'd be glad to put that out there, see if we have any takers.
Okay.
I kind of like that idea. Maybe the new subdivisions might be interested in
Okay.
doing that as an upgrade to their subdivision. I don't know.
I'm looking for a motion.
I'll motion that we move this to city council.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Mick.
Yes.
Moving to council.
Next, we have a discussion of a land purchase agreement for the police department property. Mr. Jennison, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Council, this is land purchase agreement. Tyler helped me prepare this. The seller is agreeable to how it is written currently. So just bring it up for you for any input, how you want to proceed. Any questions?
I'm sure this council has no questions whatsoever, but when I have an opportunity, I might have a couple.
I have no questions, but I do have one comment, if I may, Mr. Artemani.
Please.
This seems like a pretty good price. So I think I appreciate the collaboration you've had with the owners of the property to get this done. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Looking forward to being neighbors.
Okay.
I think ultimately, I asked that same question. It is a fair price. Seems like a really good price, but it's fair, and yet it still probably lands in our direction of Scotia. Is that fair?
I believe so, yes.
Good. Just a couple of questions on the actual real estate purchase agreement. I appreciate there's no earnest money in Part 2. In Section 5, I'm sorry, Section 6 rather, investigation by the buyer. The buyer has the right to conduct such due diligence as buyer deems necessary. I don't even know what that would look like, but do we have somebody that's walking us through what due diligence looks like? Or do we already have a plan in place of certain questions we ask, et cetera?
I believe, Zach, we've already got soil, subsoil, all that testing, correct?
Welcome back, Zach.
Thank you. I would say this particular property's been investigated pretty well. We've already conducted a geotechnical analysis of the soil, which is helping for our foundation and pavement designs. We've analyzed the hydrology and hydraulics, and it seems to be a good fit for what the police department wants to do, both in space and future development and dealing with stormwater management down the south end. So I would think that has been vetted pretty well to date.
Okay, thank you. I only have two more questions, Chief. The first one is the closing cost. Do we have any idea how much that's going to cost? I see the list there in Part 9, closing costs and adjustments under Section A. But do we have any idea approximately how much it's going to cost us in closing costs?
Currently, no. Hope to have some of those answers potentially maybe by council.
Okay, thank you. And then under Section 11, closing date, 11 Part A. Any idea when the closing date would be?
Not at this time, no.
Ballpark this year?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, essentially as soon as possible, as soon as this is executed.
Okay. So this could happen as early as July?
As soon as possible.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Council, anything else?
I'd like to make a motion to move this to city council.
I'll second.
No, Misty will second that.
Roll call.
Misty,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Mick, Tim,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Moving to city.
Next, we have a discussion of an ordinance to adopt the Tontitown Police Department policies.
So I emailed this out some time ago. Hopefully, if there's any questions around that, it's obviously rather lengthy document in there. So as the city has a city handbook, procedures for the city staff, we also adhere to the majority of those with addition to this. So this is basically our rules and regulations outlining how we conduct our jobs. through discussion on some other topics with the municipal league, this is something that was encouraged by them for our patrol policy to come before you to be adopted. We just finished a review over the past year and a half. Changes in this mostly are the format and the readability. I can go back to 2013 when the department started, and that policy was had language in it that referred to us as Springdale Police Department, Washington County Sheriff's Office, and multiple other agencies. So over time, this has been adapted and changed to our department. And so navigating that was very tricky, and there wasn't a very good flow to it. So that was the main point of our rendition on this policy, as well as updates to any state law or changes to policy and procedure. Moving forward, the goal of this is policy, once adopted by you, will be in effect. If we have any major overhauls or changes, obviously that whole document will come back to you. As we progress, say mid-year, if there's something that we come across that we need to make a policy or change to, what I'll issue out is a directive from the chief of police, and that essentially will act as a policy until it is brought before you to adopt in. So that one would fall to me as a standing order, and then once it is added to the policy, it will come back before you for adoption. Our goal is every year we'll conduct a review on this. If there's major overhauls or changes, we'll conduct that. If not, every 2 years, essentially, we'll be doing a complete overhaul policy.
I appreciate you providing it. I've memorized all 200 pages. It was really
It was
riveting.
quite lengthy.
Excellent.
Thank you. Appreciate the time that went into that. And I don't have any questions, but thank you.
Misty.
I also want to say thank you for your due diligence. These are not the fun parts of the job, but necessary. And so very much thank you for all the hard work on this.
Anyone else? All right, looking for a motion.
So I'm sorry, Chief, are you asking us to approve this, to move it
Yes,
to
if you could
City
move it to
Council to
council.
approve it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make them.
Mr. Artemani?
Yes, sir.
Since I'm the sponsor, I'll make a motion, but I think something that Chief has alluded to, and I'm not sure everybody received a copy of this, but of course, any resolution or ordinance is called for to be provided to our city attorney for form and blessing, so to speak. In addition to that, Mr. Bill Mann with the Municipal League has, and Jenna Adams, another attorney, has tweaked the ordinances that and change it from a resolution to an ordinance at their suggestion. So with that, I'll make a motion that this moves forward to the council.
Okay,
I'll second.
roll call.
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty.
Yes.
Moving to city.
Next, we have a discussion to remove a 2024 Nissan Rogue from the Tontitown Police Department fixed assets list.
Oh, heavens.
Council, this was a vehicle we purchased for our criminal investigation. One of our detectives was utilizing this vehicle. He was hit, essentially T-boned, and this vehicle was totaled. Had side airbag deployment. So insurance has totaled it. Not his fault in the accident. We did submit the claim through Municipal League just for the speed of the process. So once that insurance company reimburses Municipal League, we'll receive our deductible back from them. So just need to remove this from fixed assets.
And this particular machine had an unfortunate lifespan, didn't it?
Yes, this is a third accident in about 3 months, none of which were our faults. So,
By all means, I would like to make a motion to make it go away.
Second.
I'm just glad nobody was hurt in those 3 accidents,
Me
by the
too.
way, too.
we're
so.
not, thankfully.
Questions?
We
If
need
we-
to move this to city council.
If we
correct?
have a second, I would like to discuss,
I seconded.
Yes, we did.
Sure.
I believe I read somewhere in the city code that there is a proper and formal liquidation procedure. Have we looked at that and produced that in a form? It says here an ordinance, and I don't see an ordinance, but I believe there is in the codes a prescribed method to, before you just take something off the asset list of the city. So perhaps that needs to be looked at more closely and attached. And I don't have any problem moving this on, but I'm just making a point of that.
I'll follow up and make sure that's included.
Is that not
City
the same
Council.
thing as what we're looking at here? I'm not sure who to ask that question to. Is that different from what we're currently looking at here?
I don't see any ordinance to look at.
There's a
I mean, you've
resolution.
got something I don't have.
Well, there's a resolution on our screen. So are you saying it has to be an ordinance, not a resolution?
I don't know. I think a resolution would be adequate, but I think it probably should also cite the city code procedures that are being followed, I think, in the resolution. I think. I'll leave that up to the attorney.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'll look into that. I don't know the answer right now, but I'll look at that.
I'm happy to amend my motion pending proper following of codes, and if we can get that code into the resolution ordinance, I'd appreciate that.
I'll continue to second.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Jim,
Yes.
Mick, Mike,
Yes.
Misty,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes. Next, we have a
you, Chief.
discussion of fixed asset purchase for 5 Motorola radios.
I will address this on behalf of the request of the chief. In regards to the fixed asset purchases, when I first got that, it was my understanding that if something is in a line item ordinance through a capital expenditure request as a customary addendum to the budget that's been approved, all was well. However, to be certain, since our attorney was celebrating his birthday, I thought I'd give him a day off, and I called Mr. Caleb Alexander with the Municipal League, and he provided the documentation pursuant to 1458-303 B2A, and it speaks to the fact that at that time, purchases without a bid might not exceed $35,000. However, he also mentioned that in January of 2025, and I believe there was a letter that was addressed to the mayor, that limit was increased to $42,921 to account for inflation. There's some discrepancy between the Municipal League's interpretations and the DFA's interpretations because the law itself was not changed. Just a memo from DFA cannot affect change to the law, so possibly that can benefit from legislation. All that being said, the fire department provided a list which includes each radio to be about $9,900. And at 5 times that, it pretty much blows through either of those. And then the question was raised by Mr. Alexander, had this went out for competitive bids? Again, my understanding was incorrect, and he cleared up all of that and suggested that perhaps one of 2 avenues could take place. Either you could cut your order back to stay under arguably 35,000 or the 42,000, whichever. So buy 3 radios and then turn around and a little later do that, and you could get by that without bidding. But if you go for the full money, he recommended that you would have to back up and do a competitive bid. So I defer to the attorney on which direction to take from here.
Find that a little tricky. I don't know if we can split something up like that.
Yeah, if the municipal league says that that's something we can do, I'm going to trust their advice on that. I think it's then just a matter of, municipal policy if you guys want to go that route. I mean, I'm always going to counsel the safer of 2 options. I would probably open it up for competitive bidding. But if you have a real need for radios and this is a big time problem. You gotta have 5 radios. You gotta do what you gotta do, I guess, but.
Speak away, sir.
Well, from what I understood, this had already been earmarked for this in the capital budget as it was planned for 2026. And we're actually coming in about $1,100 and change lower than what had been earmarked for that, is my understanding. Hi, I'm the new guy.
Battalion Chief Stanley, how are you?
Good, how are you, sir?
Good, thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. Chief is out, so he asked me to fill in for him this evening. But yeah, from what I understood, the way he had explained it to me, like I said, I'm the new guy.
Who's
It
he?
had already been earmarked for
Excuse me, who's he?
the chief, Chief Krug.
Okay.
When he explained it to me that this had already been approved, the capital budget had been approved, and we were just waiting till now to make the purchase.
Yes, that is correct, Battalion Chief. It was approved. It was approved for last year's budget. There was something that happened last year, and Chief Krug honorably, he's gone through this perfectly in every single way. Unfortunately, government being what it is and trying to prevent us from doing anything good, we may have to follow some specific things. And I apologize for that. I believe, Councilmember Wagner, that number is under 20,000. I could be wrong.
That is the mayor's spending limit.
That is correct.
Not
Right.
what the state purchasing 1458-303 says.
Okay, thank you.
Two
Appreciate-
different animals.
Yes, yes, sir. You are correct. So it probably is best and to open it up again. And again, being new here, you probably don't know how long that's going to take to do that, but any ideas?
No, sir, I do not. I do not.
Any suggestions?
It should be as simple as publicizing as prescribed under law. I think publication in the newspaper one time, and then you're dependent upon, you may only get one bid. If you put the specifications tight enough, which obviously you want a Motorola certain matter. I don't know how many Motorola dealers would be looking at the paper, one.
It'd be slim pickings there.
But again, a CYA, so to speak,
Okay.
would be publications, and that shouldn't be a big formality. You could get that run, and once that's run under the state bid procedures, why,
Is
you're
there
covered.
any rules, regs that tie our hands as to how many bids we have to have, or just put it out there publicly?
No,
Just
you
put
have
it
to
out for bid.
advertise
Just to
them,
make it
but there's-
public?
Make it public?
Or
Yeah.
just-
If
You get one, you get one. If you get 12, you get 12.
Fair
whatever,
enough.
Right?
yeah, you get one, you get one.
Okay. And then moving on after that, what's the time limit? How long does that have to be published?
I don't know if there is.
I
a
don't
timeline.
recall, but I think it's got to be run one time in a paper of local circulation, but I defer to the attorney on that. They should have
Yeah.
Westlaw before him.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me a second on that one. I don't know immediately what it is.
If it's at all possible that we can get those quotes done in 2 weeks, or we could talk about this again, we could potentially still move it on. And I am sorry. I know Chief didn't intend to throw you into this.
Oh, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he did. He probably did. He's
Well,
not
no.
here.
I remember in the past, because he just plotted to do 5 a year.
Right.
He did
Right.
do competitive bidding
He did.
and stuff on these, and this was the specific qualifications of what he needed for his radios.
Right.
So I know in the past he's done the homework. I just don't think he was expecting this
Right.
I
roadblock.
thought he had done that for 2025,
Correct.
Right.
then planned on allocating this capital for this year as well.
Correct.
But
I suspect that Council.
that process renew at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I think once January 1 comes across, we'll go to buy 5 new radios. We'll have to do it again next year.
So we'll just have to put new process, just every year
Fair
do the new bids. So.
Okay.
And I have the answer to the question.
Okay.
There is no requirement under state law for a time period. Just quick research says 7 to 14 days is usually customarily, but there's no requirement of the statute.
Well, that seems to fit our time frame.
It sure does.
And to this point,
Perfect.
maybe this is a lesson learned that next year, maybe we'll do a more thorough budgeting job with a capital expenditure request for each department. And knowing this now, we can preordain this by a number of ways,
Yes, sir.
either by bids, or you can go to the state bid site, which they pre-bid a lot of stuff. So it's not really difficult. It's just a matter of dotting the Ts and crossing the Is.
What are we gonna do to be proper?
All right,
Mr. Chairman, may I bring up a couple of points, please?
please.
Okay, I think our city code also limits department heads to $20,000. It's not just the mayor. We can address the issue. We can always address the issue by, in the past, it came up to increase the discretionary spending limit to what the
35, I believe is what it
state
was.
law was. Well, now it's 42.9. Second, we're not trying to break, your new what, but, we have been chastised in the past for not going through bid processes, and I think that's why we're doing this today for you. And the other suggestion to buy 3, then buy 2, I think that does fall under the split procurement violation. So,
I agree,
Right.
but that's what Mr. Caleb said.
yeah,
And to your point about a limit of $20,000, in discussions with the same attorney for the municipal league, if it's been approved by budget, it's like, okay, you've done that once. So when they come forward with that, they've already made a recommendation for the council's approval. The council's approval of a budget approves a set amount. The only thing that's missing in this deal is having the competitive bids to go along with that.
Okay. Well, if
And-
that keeps us in the good graces of the criticizing eyes, then
Yeah.
put it out there.
And then, Mr. Wood, go ahead, to that point, if there's that $20,000 limit per department head, which I do believe is correct, it just means that it has to be approved by council, and of
Right.
course,
Right.
it either will or it won't, right? So,
So tonight, could we not make a motion to send this out for bid and
Absolutely,
give him the permission to go out for bid?
please.
I believe that we can do that, and I think we can even go further and bring it back in 2 weeks.
Bring it back in 2 weeks if we get one
Okay.
bid.
So I'll make that motion that we give you permission to put this out for bid and bring it to us at the city council meeting.
and do you want to put the time limit of 7 days, 10 days?
You've got 7 days of publication.
Fair enough.
That gives you a little wiggle room.
Gives them
I'll
time to.
Yeah,
get 'em in.
I'll second that motion, Councilmember Montez, thank you.
Roll call?
Larry,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes,
Mick,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
thank you.
sir.
Thank you so
Question.
much.
After that 7 days, and it's publicized, then we just bring it back with the same proposal?
Yes,
Probably
sir.
We'll have it.
Bring us the bids.
Probably be about
The
the same
bids.
thing.
Bring
Give
us
us
the
the bids as soon as you get them, and we'll put them in the packet, and then we'll select
Up for
one.
council. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And welcome.
Next, we have a discussion of landfill leachate treatment.
While we're setting up, could we take a quick break to give him some time?
Are
to
you
get that
ready?
set?
Are you prepared now? or-
He's ready.
Okay.
I think so.
I just wanted to introduce Cam again with Garber. He's going to give you an update on where we are with the landfill leachate.
Yeah.
And odor monitoring.
Appreciate the opportunity to come back, give you all an update. Cam Sardari, hopefully we can get this lights up. Connected to HDMI. Yeah. Cam Sardari, I'm with Garver. I lead our process team in our federal office, and we have Zach Voigt, one of our local project managers, and Larry as well, that you all know, here with us. So today, my hope is to kind of go over this agenda, provide a project background update, go over the landfill leachate pretreatment permit, talk about air quality monitoring and odor control path forward, and obviously discuss any questions that you all may have and any comments, and have a conversation about it. So quick project background, the project was initiated to address the odor concerns near the Penalty Road lift station. This pump station receives leachate from the landfill and pumps that leachate flow, kind of combines it with the remainder of the flow from the city of Tontitown, and ultimately pumps it all the way to Northwest Arkansas Conservation Authority treatment plant for treatment prior to discharge to Illinois River. Regarding the landfill leachate pretreatment permit, leachate is permitted under permit number 12-1-WM. If you look at the permit, it does have several parameters on there, several metals, from arsenic, cadmium, to copper, anything else. These are typically kind of reported and monitored for any toxicity issues at the receiving POTW, publicly owned treatment works for wastewater treatment. And there are numerical levels for phosphorus, total nitrogen, which would include ammonia, biochemical oxygen demand, total suspended solids, and fats, oils, and greases. So over the course of this project, we have conducted a historical data review on the leachate sampling over the last few years. So data going back to about 2021. I believe we shared the PDF of the slide deck with a summary of all that historical data graphs towards the end of the slide deck. But basically, these are monthly measurements for anything that was detected in the leachate, and kind of shows the levels for pH, kind of showing what the pH levels are, showing the BOD levels, which are mainly the carbon-based constituents in that leachate wastewater flow. Total nitrogen, that nitrogen includes ammonia, all the organic nitrogen, all the amino acids, proteins, all the nitrites and nitrates in the leachate flow. And kind of completed that historical data review. Among all those parameters and comparing them to the numerical levels, so this graph shows the biochemical oxygen demand, or the vertical axis, going from 0 to 4,000 parts per million, or milligrams per liter. What's the connection there? On HDMI, but can you all see it on your screen? It's all lost. Yeah. Good deal. Yeah, it's back. So, so there are typically the leachate flow, and this is very typical for any leachate, is full of carbon-based constituents, kind of going above the typical municipal level that you'd expect. The current pretreatment limit on the permit is set at 250 milligrams per liter. That's towards the lower range of what I would call a typical range for a leachate pretreatment limit. So typically we see 300, 400, 500 milligrams per liter, so that 250 is lower. They are above that continuously. We could wait for questions at the end. I'd be happy to discuss all the discussions, and I can go back to the slides. Absolutely. Yeah, I can go over the slides for sure. And also the same story for total nitrogen, showing a graph of total nitrogen. Again, total nitrogen is a measurement of ammonia plus all the organic nitrogens in the leachate wastewater, plus all the nitrite and nitrates. So basically all the nitrogen compounds in the leachate flow. The limit is set at 50 milligrams per liter, and they're consistently above that. So NACO wastewater treatment plant currently receives and treats leachate under the existing permit framework. And EPA guidance recommends that discharge limits be established based on POTW, which is basically the wastewater treatment plant locally treating the leachate, and based on those regulatory requirements. So the surcharge structure from NACA is directly what is dictated in the pretreatment permit limits, which is basically you would have to pay per pounds of constituents that you would discharge to the municipal wastewater treatment plant, which is NACA. So these values that you're seeing here is that any for BOD5, which is the carbon-based constituents, there is a surcharge or of $0.2 per pound. For total nitrogen is 50 cents a pound. For total phosphorus, etc. There's basically numerical values associated with those. And there's an equation in the pretreatment permit limit that kind of calculates or establishes how this should be calculated, and that surcharge being kind of enforced and be paid for. Ultimately going to NACA to pay for the additional treatment work, the additional chemicals, additional energy, additional capital that it would take to treat these elevated loadings. So regarding permit recommendations, to clarify that the existing permit generally addresses key wastewater treatment considerations. Additional monitoring parameters may be considered based on this ongoing evaluation. One of the key factors is that, again, as I said, majority of the metals of concern that would allude to toxicity issues at the NACO wastewater treatment plant, not really odor related, are monitored with this permit, and that's typically how permits are set up. There are numerical values for total phosphorus, BOD, which is carbon, total nitrogen, fat, salts, and greases. But EPA is really looking at PFAS. You probably have seen it in the news, still science is growing very fast in this region. It's one of those forever chemicals that kind of could be found in any municipal waste and ultimately going to end up in leachate and at a wastewater treatment plant. So as it relates to any leachate, it's a matter of biosolids at a wastewater treatment plant because they can be captured in biosolids and kind of returned to soil. So EPA is looking at it from that lens. So probably be a good idea to add that to the permit as a monitoring limit for any future works.
Excuse me, I'm a little slow here. I'm not good with acronyms, but what is PFOA and PFOS? Maybe you can explain that.
Yeah, these are so F. The important thing to recall is F is fluor compound. So these are fluorinated compounds, basically Teflon-based compounds. So PFOA and PFOS are two categories of compounds that have defensible measurement techniques and are basically under the umbrella of PFAS, basically.
Since you recommended it, that it be added to our discharge limits, I thought it would be necessary. You might explain what the hell we're adding. So thank you.
Absolutely. The other recommendation would be to update the point of sampling, which is not super clear in the current permit where the point of sampling is. So basically clarifying that the point of sampling has to be at the point that the city is receiving the leachate to do the measurement and basically enforce based on the actual observed concentrations. So again, over the course of this project, we have participated in multiple site visits, kind of right now looking at the assets on waste management sites, see what they have. They currently have equalization tanks, pumps. We have made some recommendations on how to improve some of the aeration mechanisms, try to help with the odors at the lift station, basically getting more oxygen into the leachate before it hits the lift station, minimize the risk of H2S generation, basically trying to keep it in aerobic conditions, prevent H2S generation. The city staff have, obviously, I think we discussed that last time, jetted the lines, kind of removing debris from that existing inflow line coming to the lift station. That does seem to have helped a little bit. We've had conversation with the landfill, how they need to basically pump to the landfill, how to keep the pump station levels low, and also more recently some pH adjustment discussions and recommendations on how the pH is best kept at 7.5 to 8 parts in order to kind of maintain lower levels of ammonia and H2S in that headspace of the pump station. And moving on to the air quality monitoring and odor control path forward. So leachate contains compounds that may contribute to odor. There has been a history of hydrogen sulfide kind of measurement, not a history, but there's been some data showing that it would be present. I wouldn't be shocked if continuous monitoring would show some levels. This is very typical, such as any other water pump station as well. There is always some level of hydrogen sulfide present. We want to make sure that's on a manageable, very low level, not creating odor nuisance for the residents. So the following steps are recommended for path forward. First one is permanent odor monitoring. Second one is data evaluation after installation. And the third one is long-term solution. So data will help distinguish between odor events and long-term trends. So this is going to be, I think, critical for the success of this project. And it's recommended to proceed with procuring a permanent odor monitoring unit. So these are basically specialty products that provide real-time monitoring for constituents of concern, the basically air phase around the lift station, most importantly for hydrogen sulfide and volatile organic carbon compounds. The cost of this unit is approximately $30,000 shipped, and it has about 8 weeks of lead time. Seems like it's reconnecting again. We'll give it a second until it comes back. Again, over the course of the project, we've had multiple calls with this, basically the technical engineers on there, and making sure it's something that the city staff can maintain, can kind of watch over, can kind of keep supplies for. Is something that would provide value for the city long term. But really the goal. Yeah, the goal of it is to provide long-term measurements, real-time monitoring. Keep my hand on the cable. Yeah, the goal of it is to basically hour by hour, track these H2S level, VOC level. So if there's a spike, you can basically see it. But for measuring H2S and VOC and be kind of confident in those measurements, there is some annual maintenance associated with it to replace sensors, perform calibration, some consumables, and there's a fee for annual software access, a software with which you can monitor real-time data and also look at the historical trends. One thing that's difficult to measure with any permanent monitoring is ammonia. Ammonia is a very sticky compound. It's not as easy to measure with H2S, such as similar to H2S or VOCs. So there's not capability you could add to this device, but there is handheld devices out there for ammonia measurement. It's basically for the staff to go out there, measure ammonia. And I should say that these are not as accurate as the other device for H2S and VOC, more for basically an indication of presence of ammonia, or basically ammonia dissipates pretty quickly compared to H2S2, so you could walk around the lift station and try to understand the levels of ammonia or if there's any present. The approximate device cost is $5,000, and also there's an annual sensor replacement cost of about $1,000. In the case of which, if ammonia is detected, again, as I said, it's pretty difficult to measure ammonia in the air phase. It's pretty easy to measure it in the liquid phase, in wastewater per se. And our local labs, although they could measure ammonia in liquid, they could measure a lot of different compounds, they do not have capabilities to measure ammonia, nitrogen in air phase. But we have had coordinations with Eurofins, which is one of the national labs, doing basically more difficult, more complicated measurements. And they have kind of indicated that they'd be willing to work with the city and ship sampling kits, sampling badges to the city for those to be placed near the lift station for a period of 8 hours, shipped back to Richmond, Virginia to perform exact measurements of those levels. But that's a possibility that we're bringing forward to the city. That was something to be pursued. It's definitely possible.
What are
those called or cost?
Both.
So these are sample badges for basically nitrogen measurement. We can get you more information on
and
it.
Only for nitrogen measurement?
So this would be only for ammonia in the air phase, and we could do VOC on the side of it, but it would be a badge very small that you would basically hang near the lift station. It would absorb ammonia, and then you package it based on their instructions and ship it overnight. They would do measurement in their lab in Richmond, Virginia. Their labs in Little Rock couldn't do it either. It's one of the more difficult ones to do in the air phase. Cost of it is not as significant. Each sample is $100 plus shipping. So if the city were to proceed with this, we'd recommend starting with a week of sampling and then kind of going from there. Collecting data after installation. So data for that permanent system and for that handheld device will be logged and available online for city staff access. Basically, they would provide the city with username, password. You go online, see the trends for H2S, VOC, other compounds that the permanent monitoring station would measure. And then the long-term solution, one of the biggest things when it comes to odor control and odor treatment is variation. And we've been informed of a significant variation in the odors generating from the lift station. And due to that variation in compound concentration, this long-term monitoring data will be used to evaluate the size and estimate the cost of potential odor control improvements. So we would measure first for a few months when the system is installed, evaluate the data, and design a system for kind of doing the odor control, basically going after it. An odor control system could be designed and installed on site based on long-term collected data. There are chemical systems, physical systems, biological systems that could perform this odor control. If the if this continued, if there was continued measurements of H2S or continued nuisance presence or nuisance odor presence in the city. But that data would help kind of design the system. Now, the first question is, well, why can't we just design it right now? And that really goes back to the variation. You can simply oversize or undersize an odor control system, and if you do both, you're going to fail. So if with a biological system, if you undersize it, if you oversize it, if you don't feed the bacteria on that biotower, it's not going to sustain bacteria. It's going to fail. And vice versa. If you undersize it, then it's going to perform treatment as needed for H2S removal. So that was kind of a summary update. We'd be more than happy to discuss any questions or discussion items.
Mr. Artemani, are we going to go in a round robin and let everybody have their 5 minutes like the code says, or do we just raise our hands and just free for all? I mean, I don't care whichever way we want to go, because I've got plenty of questions, but I defer to the young lady to my right and Mr. Waskoviak, but I just want to have a thorough discussion about this.
I'm sure everybody has a question, and maybe
Good. Let's start with Mr. Waskoviak, since he raised his hand first, and work this way.
Well, I'll try to keep mine short. I'd like to go back to page 7 and 8, please. And I would like a little bit more explanation on this chart, because the red line, I mean, these numbers seem to be just flowing way past what should be recommended. Am I wrong about that, my interpretation of that? And two, what's the recommendation to bring those levels down to the red dotted line that we need to see?
So I should clarify that the red dotted line is typically, if you go to any leachate, no leachate flow is going to meet those values. Those values are municipal wastewater and average strength municipal wastewater. So NACA applies a surcharge based on those values, 250 parts per million. If there was no leachate, the city of Tontitown could still get a surcharge. If for over a course of a month, the BOD is 280 or 300 parts per million. And those are actually the case when we've done previous measurements as a part of other projects. So these values are more to define the surcharge rate, understanding no leachate flow can meet those levels. Similar case with total nitrogen. So total nitrogen, this limit, if there is no leachate treatment on site, biological treatment on site, the wastewater treatment plants dedicated to leachate, these values are not going to be met. So they're put in place just for basically determining the amount of surcharge that an industrial contributor would have to provide the utility with.
Okay, so I understand that, I think, but do we want the level? Is there pre-treatment options available do we want these levels to be closer to this red line?
That's really a policy from the city. My technical expertise, I really can't recommend that. It's really a policy on that permit, how the language of the permit is written. The way the permit is developed right now kind of defines pre-treatment limits and provides a table for surcharge. But it really is a policy between the city and waste management for kind of allowing for any exceedances or not.
Okay, I've got a couple of others, but I'll pass it down, because I'm sure there's other questions that take up some time too.
Mr. Burris.
Thank you, appreciate it. So BOD, that's bioorganic oxygen demand or something
Biochemical
like
oxygen
Biochemical
demand,
oxygen
correct.
demand, okay. So when that's high, that means then that the leachate is extremely concentrated with organic something, or
Carbon-based.
organic pollution?
Carbon-based organics.
Okay. Thank you for that. I've got a few questions. I want to start with this odor monitoring system. You mentioned hydrogen sulfide. You've made it clear that hydrogen sulfide doesn't smell good. Does hydrogen sulfide also create any other concerns health-wise, or is this just
above the OSHA
stinky?
levels?
Okay.
If it's above the OSHA levels.
Okay. Well, we certainly don't want that. And regarding these odor monitoring devices, they're somehow better than this odor monitoring device? Because we've got a lot of those already out in the field.
Yeah. So I think this will help definitely with kind of human sense. You could always sense some kind of a smell. You can't tell what it is. You can't tell, H2S, everybody says it has a rotten egg smell. So experts would be able to potentially walk out on the side and be like, hey, I guess that H2S is pretty high. But if you don't know if it's H2S, if it's SO2, if it's VOCs or volatile organic compounds, then you don't know what system to design for it, because each one of these compounds would require a certain type of chemical or system to treat if there was an odor control system to be installed on site. So knowing those levels, so sense of basically kind of nuisance odor is one thing, but differentiating those and determining the levels is critical in terms of designing an appropriate system. Again, going back to that undersized, oversized argument of it has to be kind of a perfectly sized system in order to accomplish this. So you would need to have
That, and that's on the
differentiation.
odor control side. As of now, I'm just asking questions about the odor monitoring. So to odor monitor, I'm not going to put my nose out there 24/7, but this would be there for $30,000, including shipping, $8,500 a year or so in upkeep.
Yeah.
How many of these do we need?
Just one at the lift station.
And it goes at the lift station, and where does it mount? It looks like it mounts to something.
Just on a pole away from a little away from the building and the fence, so it gets all around exposure.
And it's high, it's low, where
It's
is
about
it?
5 foot tall.
It's about 5 feet off the ground. Okay. These measurement badges that would be sent off to Virginia, those are disposable, it would seem, at $100 a pop. About how many of those do you think that we would need?
I think to just get started, at least a week or two. So continuous sampling campaign. So I would say about either 5 to 10 in that range.
And you think 5 to 10, how often do we do that? If it's a week or two at a time?
So it goes back to that sense of ours. I think there has been history. There is the staff in the city have good kind of understanding of when the odors are kind of worse, when they're not as significant. So I would say we could start with 5 days of continuous, pick a week. We're going to do the sampling campaign each day at whatever time that the staff see best. These badges would be placed at the lift station for a period of 8 hours, then collected, and then set aside in the fridge. After a week, all shipped to Richmond, Virginia, and then we could keep the rest for the incidental events that we think there could be something going on in that lift station, and then kind of deploy them when needed.
Okay. I heard an alarm go off. I don't know if that was my 5-minute alarm. Did I already blow through my 5 minutes?
It was.
Okay. Then I will defer to my fellow council members, and if I could have another round, if we do that, I'd like to continue my question.
Misty.
Thank you.
You also mentioned that $8,500. So you're recommending we get all three? If I understand that correctly,
If this handheld device, so far, these units are more available. So again, as I said, based on my experience, ammonia dissipates quickly. So to me, it would be worth having this device, doing some sampling to kind of confirm presence of ammonia kind of around the fence area of the lift station. And if that is confirmed, then proceed with the Eurofins special batch sampling.
Danny.
I would just ask that if you could provide us this presentation in an email form and get that to us, that'd be great, so we can have, I'm writing down notes on.
You received
We
it
got it
last
2
night
days ago, I
about
think.
8 o'clock.
I'm sorry.
It was sent out last night about
Late
8
last night,
o'clock,
yeah.
so you had,
Okay.
got at least 3 or 4 hours to look at it.
Unfortunately, that's not advantageous to me in some time, so if I've got it, I'll look for it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I believe that came from Mr. Taylor. Is that right?
Okay.
Mr. Wagner.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to begin by saying I appreciate all your hard work, and y'all do have some nice software to put some pretty pictures up there. And I've heard a whole lot of talk about we're going to put a smell factor down there. You were asked a question earlier, what's the limits that are supposed to be set? You said that's a policy. It damn sure is. Matter of fact, it's been a policy since 2006. The discharge limits that you refer to, BOD, was 250 total phosphorus, 15, total nitrogen, including ammonia, 50, and suspended solids, 250. Now, you can put all the smell devices you want to down there, but until you pre-treat the material at the source, you're never going to obtain those. I'm a little more inquisitive than most of the aldermen, simply because I've had a little more background in this. And finally, I ask you, certainly, sir, to show me the courtesy of a return email, which I've yet to be getting, but somebody, I think this guy back here with the glasses on his head, provided me something which summarizes what's the dots on the board. And the first quarter of 2026, total nitrogen 1270, limits 50. Now, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out that's pretty high. But what's really frustrating about this whole matter is these people that live down there by the landfill have been crying for 5 years. Pretty well parallels your numbers right here. Now, Waste Management has been knowledgeable since they've connected to our system. Matter of fact, the limits that I said were established once again in 2006. These people up here became the control authority in 2011, and I dare say if any of them have ever read that. What gets me greatly concerned, the last time you were here to present your presentation, is that the question was asked, are you going to establish limits? Well, for God only knows, the limits were already established. And so then on or about November 10th of 2025, a letter addressed to Mr. Blake Small by James Clark, the Public Water Works Water and Sewer Department Chairman, said, Mr. Small, regarding my previous letter, once again, he restates what's in the code, has been since 2006. Now, that was November 25. Okay, December of 25, Quattlebaum and Tull, who represents your firm, made a 6-page rebuttal to that. Well, are we going to still be, if we're going to have to meet those discharges, are we still going to be charged penalties? Well, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I would think if you meet your qualifications, you can't penalize somebody for it. But regarding penalties, according to summary data here, in the last 16 months, surcharges that have been charged to Tontitown, because we send it to NACA. We're not the treatment plant. We then send it to you. We operate real efficiently. We don't even put a markup on it. We give Waste Management, and I say you, I refer to Waste Management, so I don't know if anybody's here from Waste Management or not, but I'm sure they're watching this video. Averaged $26,559 per month. Now, in regards to the rebuttal from your attorney, there was another letter sent as late as February of 2026. Dear Blake, in response to your December 8 letter, we go on and we even hired and engaged Mr. Cam Sadari, I think that'd be you, an environmental expert to assist us in this project. I fully expected that you would come back with maybe some amendments, and I did see one of PAFOS or PAFOS or whatever your acronym was. I don't know how much that affects the smell, but the subject of the matter is your solution is let's put a smelling device down there. Well, hell, what good's it going to do if you don't meet the criteria when it's discharged, for God's sakes?
Mr. Wagner, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. We do have decorum in this room, and we don't use swear words.
And I appreciate that, sir.
I'd appreciate it.
And thank you very much. So with that said, why at this late date has Tontitown not enforced pre-treatment as has been on the books? We keep kicking the can down the road. We keep talking about it. But the real issue is we can smell it all day long. We can put devices down there all day long. But until we put some teeth and not just kindly back and forth, what do you think about it? No, it isn't what we think about it. They knew when they started discharging leachate. Everybody knows that leachate as a landfill ages, it gets stronger. When they initially did it, those standards were in place. But NACA at that point said, no problem, they're not enough high, we can just charge a little extra and it'd be done. I'm saying it's time that Tontitown takes action and actually follows their code. Now, that's my 5 minutes, so thank you for your time.
Ms. Graham, you had a question for the gentleman?
Yes. This is in the liquid phase. Yes. Not the air. There's no current measurement device on site that would measure that. Yep.
Ms. Graham, that's a no, thank you, thank you. Gave you an opportunity, which is not normal.
Mr. Artemani.
Mr. Clark, I think perhaps you.
Yeah, I could elaborate on that. So there is one way for these limits to be met, and that is for waste management to have an operating wastewater treatment system on their site. They do that. There could be systems designed to meet these limits. So that would mean right now leachate is coming to the pump station, gets pumped to NACA wastewater treatment plant. The treatment happens there. That treatment could happen on the waste management site. Again, EPA doesn't have any direct regulations on landfills having to do that. And right now the precedent, utilities around the country would do either way. Either the landfill would treat and send their treated effluent to this utilities collection system, or just send it to the utilities wastewater treatment plant. It's just a matter of treatment has to happen somewhere. It would be, so based on, yeah, it would be most current technology in place. It's called an MBBR system, moving bed biofilm reactor, followed by a dissolved air flotation system. The system that would grow bacteria on media, bacteria that can basically organically or biologically remove total nitrogen and BOD down to these levels, and kind of perform wastewater treatment on these management sites.
Is the odor or smell going to still be there, or are you saying that if they have the capacity or ability, if they do these things, that
there's a very high likelihood that the odors issues could basically be lessened or reduced. There is no direct correlation right now between, as I mentioned, majority of the things that you would smell are those VOCs and H2Ss, not necessarily total nitrogen and BOD. But based on my experience, as you perform wastewater treatment, as kind of leachate passes through the biological treatment process, majority of the precursors for VOCs and H2S, which is sulfate and sulfide, would basically get reduced, and the odor issues would get much less.
If I could clarify, getting a bit beyond study was a bunch of, I can tell you from this point, it's nothing that I'm say outside of just logic on. I hate to dialogue like that.
Well, as I mentioned, again, different utilities around the country treat these two different ways. A lot of utilities have a regional or local wastewater treatment plant that would treat that waste. Others would have basically different policies in place for kind of coordinations. So, and again, another measure to kind of reduce and again lessen those materials is again that path forward, the slide that I had in there. I mean, this being around odor, we've been involved with a lot of odor control projects, again, around the country with lift stations. A lot of lift stations would receive industrial dischargers, and the odor control practices are very common in our industry, basically collecting the air, pumping the air out of the headspace of a lift station, sending it through a basically air treatment process, kind of eliminating or reducing significantly H2S, VOCs, and odor-generating compounds within.
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
I believe the protocol of this meeting allows for 2 sessions of 5 minutes each. I'm not going to take 5 sessions, but if you'd indulge me with the ability to make one last comment.
Please.
I think it's very adequately pointed out by the young man back there that's got the haircut like me, that in fact, we didn't hire these guys to design a waste treatment system for waste management. That's their problem. That's their dollar. So why are we even talking about this? We've given them a set of limits. There is a chain and organized amount of communications that we have communicated, I think, effectively. And I've only learned that today when Mr. Clark was kind enough to provide me this historical emails. So these gentlemen here, I appreciate everything you do. Don't get me wrong. I mean, maybe the frustration come out, but you're one sharp cookie. There's no doubt about that. But I don't think, as already been made numerous times, chasing the smell after it's coming, if you've got untreated waste coming, you can smell it all day long. But what have you proven? Nothing, but it stinks. So thank you. Appreciate my time.
Anyone else?
If we could, if there's any other questions specific to this, I would love to get those answered. And as there is a lot of other conversation, we're happy to provide any input we can, but just, I want to make sure we get questions answered for this specifically, knowing that this is drawn out.
Right.
I do have a question that I believe is Jermaine. You started your conversation by talking about permit number 12-1-WM, industrial waste discharge permit. That permit was brought up earlier by Ms. Graham. That was prepped and it was ready for the mayor's to sign as of signature date of December 31 of 2025, set to go into effect on January 1 of 2026. I've not seen that. I don't know how it got to that point, but I know that she hasn't signed it. I know she's not here to answer for herself, but do you have any idea why that has not been signed?
I'm not in the loop on that.
Okay. I just didn't know if you were somehow in that loop. I appreciate that. And then there seems to be some difference between odor monitoring and odor control. So yes, that stinks. I can smell it. It exists. That's one thing. How do we keep that stench from affecting those around us? And I know Ms. Graham is passionate about this, and you ought to be. You're not the only one that's affected by this. Obviously, several others, not just Nina Brown, but several people in town, my own family included, have to deal with some of these things, not at quite the same level. But we need to get that rectified. We need to get that fixed. So when you talk about building this odor control concept, obviously that's going to cost some money. Obviously it's going to cost some time. It's going to cost some engineering, and we have to get that right. How do we get that right?
I believe data-driven designs would be the way to go for the long-term success of
And
this
what data do you
pursuit.
need that you don't have?
It's the long-term variations in H2S, VOC, those compounds that that permanent monitoring system would measure, and that handheld device for ammonia would track. So I believe if that data range is present, then a system could be designed to treat the foul air.
What
at
kind
the
of
lift station.
time frame are you talking on something like that?
I may have to get back to you on that. It would depend on the lead times of the equipment, how much the engineering would take, what the procurement method is, what the engineering design style is, the design would build. But again, as you correctly mentioned, it would take some time to perform design, perform construction of that project.
And there's measurement badges. Would you need to run that more than once?
For ammonia, you're referring to?
No,
So-
the little badges, I mean, whatever.
So
it's
the
on,
little
the
badges
DODs,
are just for ammonia.
Just
they
for
brought
ammonia.
it. Just for
Okay,
ammonia
okay.
and to get an accurate.
So you
measure
suggested
of
doing
ammonia.
that 5 or 10 for a week or two. How often would you do that? Would you do that quarterly? Would you do that monthly? Or is that a one-shot deal?
Yeah, so that's going to be really helpful for the design of the odor control system.
That's why I
the
asked.
odor monitoring. Yeah, I think a first sampling campaign could really inform the second or third round if there were to be any. So I think the decision on that would really depend on the results of the first sampling campaign.
Okay. Then based on what you've said here, it looks like we would need $36,000 to get that monitoring in place, another $8,500 to maintain that, another $1,000 a year for those sensors. But for less than $40,000, we can get a pretty good idea of what we need in order to create that control of that odor. Is that fair?
That is a fair assessment.
Okay, thank you. Have you, aside from this, made that recommendation in a more formal setting to the mayor or other department heads here?
I believe I've made that recommendation to Mr. Clark in an email.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate the time. Thanks.
Okay, I know that there are a couple people that would love for me to call at least a 5-minute break if we're going to question you any longer. So with that being said, if you want to go back, sit down, there's a couple of people here that would truly love to have 5 minutes.
Okay.
Good.
Would you need the slides up, or would you like me to take the laptop
Leave them up,
away?
it's all good.
Okay.
Minutes are up. No, yeah, weren't we?
It threw me off, I'm sorry. I was like,
It throws me off.
did I just hear that? So, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it just threw me.
Yeah, it does me too.
So,
saw you looking around.
I listened. Hey, your voice weren't working today.
No, they're not. Grant, actually, Nolan was there.
No, he must have been inside.
Yeah, no, he's probably on cash register for us.
Okay.
Grant usually works.
Test.
Grant's always up on Nathan has his second interview on Thursday.
We're just gonna accept everything.
Yeah. That's it. We're gonna rule the Chick-fil-A empire.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, God bless the Chick-fil-A.
It's Jesus chicken.
It is Jesus chicken. I would say it's God's favorite chicken. Okay, somebody took my candy dish. And I'm about to lose.
Somebody took your candy dish?
Yes.
Here you go, pass this to him.
No, I don't want your candy dish.
I don't need any tonight, you're good.
Mrs. Burris is probably watching, and she's not happy. She'll say, I saw you do that. When I get home, I saw you. How did you see me at that minute? Because you're not very good at hiding. Video on. Ready for round two?
Where's Mr. Wagner go off to?
You go long enough, I'm gonna need to. Yeah, we have it, too. That was preparation H. Nope, that was H. I, where are we?
We are
I,
H.
H. We're still on H. That's gonna be a fun night.
Like to call the meeting back to order, please. Front and center.
Act 2, Scene 1.
Council, the best I can tell, we pretty well discussed odor and the things that we can do. And as discussed or brought up, I think the very most important thing that we can do is hold waste management feet to the fire and make them pre-treat it before it ever gets to the point where we have to worry about odor at the lift station. But I think that would be our first order of business as far as I'm concerned. So if anybody else has got anything.
I would just like to make a request to you two gentlemen in particular, Mr. Latham and Mr. Clark. Can you get something to us by the next COW that has something in place that we can act upon? Or do we already have it? Then why don't we make action now? Well, I'm open to suggestions, council member.
I'm just saying, I mean, it seems senseless to have a speed limit that you don't enforce, just enforce your speed limit.
And who does that enforcement, Mr. Wagner?
I would guess this man to my left, just, out of a wild guess, but, maybe the prosecutor, I don't know.
Could you refresh my memory on the code
Mr. Wagner?
number, Mr. Wagner?
I've got it.
The code citation, please.
I've
I
got it.
certainly
It's
do.
permit number 12-1-.
No.
No.
The code.
I had it here a while ago. It's 52-115, more particularly outlined at E2.
Oh, it's our city code. Okay, I thought you were talking state code. Thank you.
No. You can be more restricted than state code. State code, as a matter of fact, there is no, to my knowledge at this point, superseding, and we can be more restrictive even if the state had one.
Okay. I believe,
Thanks, sir.
unless I'm mistaken, does anybody else have it? I made you stand there for nothing, I think, so.
Does our
further
code
questions.
enforcement officer, is that the person that pursues this? No.
We have to pursue it as a city.
Water and Sewer Department control authority, more particularly city council as defined in the code authority, which has been provided in other times, but in chapter 52, that's also outlined. And more particularly, I think at 31.04, as the manager of the Water and Sewer Department, which shall report directly to the mayor, has the authority to operate our water and sewer system. Now, he doesn't carry a badge nor a gun. Maybe he does, I'm not sure. But I think we have adequate enforcement methodologies.
And therefore, we don't need an ordinance, we don't need a resolution.
We have it already.
We simply.
Again,
we
an
simply
ordinance
need-
in 2006 created
I
the
understand.
limits that are outlined in your code.
So with
You'll
that
read the
said,
code that I just gave you. It was established originally in 2006, been modified many times since that time. You don't have to reinvent a code, it's already there.
Mr. Wagner, I appreciate your passion. So with that said, we don't need a ordinance, we don't need a resolution, we simply need Mr. Farrar to write a letter on the city's behalf? Thank you.
Thank you for your time. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sorry, we're having family Thanksgiving dinner tonight.
Family, just facts.
Next, we have discussion of a bid award for the community building. Thank you, Mark. Please.
Yeah, here to report on the bid opening that we had that was held on Tuesday, May 26th, 2 o'clock here at City Hall. It's for the community building. We had a total of 10 bids, what I believe you get a copy of. And the low bidder was Southern Builders. I believe they're out of Springdale, for a total cost of $1,197,684. Just a reminder, this project is actually funded by the 2024 bond issue. We're recommending, Randy's here as the architect. I think I sent you a letter that he said he recommending the low bid. And he's here to answer any questions you all might have.
Mr. Latham, I'm so sorry. Is this Southern Brothers or
Yes.
Souther Brothers?
Southern.
With an N?
Yeah.
That's not
Yes.
listed here. Okay.
Southern brand.
Okay. Are there any concerns aside from the fact that they are the lowest bid, which would seem to be good? Or do we have any concerns at all with this particular construction company or their contractors?
Randy, we don't. No, I'm not here.
Check their license, it's current. Don't have complaints that we found, so we don't have anything negative. So in that case, recommend accepting the parent low bid.
Thank you. I see one of the companies here, one of the principals of that company sits on our planning commission. Is that in any way problematic?
Well, I didn't realize you sit on the planning commission, but I think that would be a city issue, but I mean, they were still low bid and they still bid it just like anybody else. I don't know if that would really disqualify them or anything.
It's a
Providing the
subcontractor.
electrical, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Has there been a review of the insurance bonds, normally on a bid?
They had that in the
packet.
bid forms. They had their bid security, so they're not under contract yet, so I haven't got anything there, but
Well, I see the contractor's license, but
Mhm.
normally in the bids that I've looked at in the past, you'd verify their insurance and all that, just another formality. But
yeah, we've checked through that
Thank you.
stuff. So.
So barring any concerns, and Mr. Farrar, perhaps you can help with that. Barring any concerns, I can't see any reason why we wouldn't go with the lowest bid on this particular.
That's my assessment and our company's recommendation.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And to give you some more insight, Mr. Burris, looking at these companies, I've worked with a couple of them, one of them being Southern Brothers. They're a relatively newer commercial contractor, but they are making sure that they're doing a good job to make sure their reputation stays intact. C.R. Crawford kind of started out the same way, and you see how big they're getting. So they're playing with the big boys in these commercial contracts. So I would also give you some reassurance that I think you're in good hands with Southern Brothers, being that they are the lowest bidder and that they are taking pride in what they're doing and trying to make a name for themselves as they come up.
And as was approved by the voters, how much money was set aside for this particular project?
Thank you, Tim. That was my question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
No,
mean to
no,
take-
you're good. I just
Great
glad.
minds think alike, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, we started out where we're hopefully was going to get a grant, which was through the state, which was for 500,000. This originally was going to split between doing some recreational stuff on the parks. And I think I indicated to you that at one point in time that the cost right now, I mean, this is basically a metal building. I mean, talking about it, $1 million for a small metal building is actually not too bad. One of the things that increase this is because of our new codes that we have. I just want you guys to be aware of that. As you know, they made a presentation to the Planning Commission. This one's in the setback requirements for the 412 overlay requirements, of which requires all four sides of a building to have some kind of a facade. So that increases the cost. The other thing it does require landscaping. We did put a little bit more emphasis in trying to make that parking lot more suitable than what it looks like. So, but right now, the original bond was for, I think it was $1 million.
So we're already 20% past that. So where does,
Little bit, yeah.
so where does this extra 20% come from?
I would say from, the general fund.
General fund.
Okay, and we don't, we don't have that budgeted yet, but we do have that set aside in the general fund. Is that correct?
Well, it's in the bond fund.
Right, but
You can see that in the, you'll see that. I mean, there's some interest that's actually been made, but originally it was for $1 million.
But right, the bond only allows for $1 million. So for us to come up with the
Well,
other,
yeah, I mean, that's what's in the account.
right, so, but my point is, if that's in the bond fund and we made interest on it, yay, that's good. But we still have to account for that difference.
Correct.
That is not budgeted. We would
Correct.
have to come outside of the budget in order to approve that, this particular project.
Well, this is not included in your general budget.
But that extra 20% is.
It's kind of like Fletcher. Fletcher's not in your budget.
Okay, so
That's
how are we
coming
spending?
out of, well, that's coming out of your bond money. That's a separate deal.
I understand that, but again, the voters voted for $1 million toward this particular project, and we're spending 1.2 million. So from a legal standpoint, I want to make sure
You're
that-
going to spend all the bond money, plus ask for some additional money from the general fund.
Right, but again, that's not accounted for in a budget. So you need, in addition to the $1 million that's set aside, whether we made interest on that or not, for the council to approve the entire amount, and we need to know where that's coming from and how we're getting our hands on it. Okay, thank you.
I do have one question. And I think I asked this before the meeting started. The bid, is this going to be fixed cost, price not to exceed 1.197? Or are we going to be hit with
Randy, you want to address
$300,000-$400,000
that?
of
I
change
think
orders?
I'm going to let Randy address that.
That's the total project cost. I mean, so that covers everything. We
So-
do have an allowance built into it if there's some unforeseeables. There might be dirt work or something that we encountered that we didn't expect of. We do have allowances for that too.
It's how much allowances?
The allowance is 60,000 for any unknowns, which would go back to the city if it wasn't used. We traditionally, in our firm, we hate change orders and resist them with everything we can.
City council hates change orders too.
Yeah, so we've got a strong history of not allowing any change orders unless they're to the benefit of the owner, or if you guys decide you want to add to it, that'd be something different too.
Sure,
right?
I
But
can
this
understand that.
price is to include everything in the construction documents and the project manual.
And there's an issue we're going to discuss later, but when is the owner, the city, to be notified when change orders? How much time does the contractor have to? I'm not familiar with the.
Okay, so
all
if the first thing
intricacies
that
of
would
the building.
happen is if there was a question about any kind of cost increase, we would first have to ask for a proposal request. Say, oh, okay, we want to change this door to a different size door. Let's just say that, for example, and this new door costs an extra $100. We would ask the contractor to give us a proposal to change door A to door B. They would come back with a proposal with a price that we would then verify. And then at that point, we'd either recommend that the city accept it or not accept it. And then, so without us making that recommendation to accept a change order, you won't ever see one, or you're not supposed to.
Well, it makes me feel better. Thank you.
So, yeah.
I appreciate it. Misty.
Mark, I have a couple questions. The foundations, is this anything in their purview that they're trying to help with landscaping or any of the other possible projects that they could help with?
They've been waiting. They've got a brick program that they would like to set up. You buy bricks, and this would be dedicated towards this project.
Okay.
I talked to Candy Black, who's the president of it. She indicated as soon as dirt starts turning, they're going to be pushing the advertisement on it.
So that could help offset some of
Yeah,
the costs.
it would
And then,
definitely offset that.
Are we going to try for any more grants for
Um,
part of this?
Well, I mean, we're already under construction. I don't know where the,
Okay,
grants
just-
typically.
Just wanted to ask all of our avenues.
No. The only other thing on the grant issue is the TAP grant that's going to kind of do a little bit more improvements on the parking along Zupo, and then we got some drainage things there that Zach put together. So it's going to look really nice, guys. It's going to be very well used.
Oh, absolutely.
Extremely well used. And hopefully you guys will move forward on it. Thank you.
May I ask one other question, please?
Yeah.
Please.
There was some talk early on this, and I don't know if I heard you, I don't, your question fully, but about the metal possibly being donated?
Well, part of it has been, I
Part of
think.
it has been,
Right?
okay.
No, none of it? They designed it? What did,
We don't,
It was Central States,
Central
correct?
States?
they're the Central States is the metal building manufacturer that's in the base bid. I don't have their bid to the contractor to know if they cut their price low to get
Okay.
that in there. So, but they were the low based on, what we found out on that,
Thank you.
Anything else? Anybody?
Well, with that, I'll make a motion that we send this to city council with the accepting Southern Brothers as the contractor.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Mick.
Yes.
Next, we have a discussion of a change order to repair Reed Valley Road. Mr. Latham.
The only reason I bring this to you is that I've had several people call regarding the road surface. If you've been down there, Reed Valley, really feel like it's unsafe. Many of the people are actually using the other lane, including a school bus at one time, to get rid of, the bumps in the road, which are basically caused by, in two areas, some pine trees. If you know anything about pine trees, their roots don't go down, they spread out like a wildfire type thing. So anyway, so Scott and I met Kraft and Tull down, take a look at it. What could we potentially do to repair this? And I did find out from James that originally, was about 7 years ago, this thing was repaired. Yeah.
Yeah, I started to say, we did this several years ago.
Yeah, seemed to be a major problem. So the guys have been down there, actually Kraft and Tull mentioned about the fact that 5 feet from where the edge of the surface is, if you dig those roots out, ideally you want to pour that with concrete, which basically would push the roots down instead of spreading out like they have been. I asked them to give us a change order. As you know, we still are under contract with APAC, and this was actually the 2025 contract that we have with them. They're doing also that work down on Dow and Kelly. So I'm just bringing this to you because I'm getting the phone calls. So, and I do think it's not safe to be driving on, especially if people are using it. Total change order cost was $67,750. What they're going to do is remove the pavement and then put base, and they're going to actually utilize some kind of super paved asphalt to do the overlay to the center line. In the meantime, our guys are going to be continually uprooting those roots and hopefully finding some funds to put some concrete in those areas so the roots don't continue on. We got another place down, if you've been on North Barrington, that has the same problem. Pine trees and busting up the surface on that. So I'm just bringing this, if you guys want to move forward on it, that's great. We'll do our best to try to get rid of the roots issue, but the bumps are still going to be there.
I make a motion that we move this forward to council. Hopefully we can get an affirmative and discuss at that time.
Second.
Roll call.
Misty?
I'm so
sorry.
sorry.
Wait, whoa,
Can we
okay.
ask any questions?
Discussion?
now?
Yeah, okay.
It's a couple questions for you, Mr. Latham. There was we've started work on this already, is that right?
The guys have been down there cutting the roots out,
Okay.
yes. There's
Just-
2 areas specifically that have nothing but pine trees sitting along the edge here.
So I see here on the second page, page 2 of 2, the original contract price was $395,778. And then there's an increase of $142,812.
Right.
That was a 36.08% increase. And now we're increasing again another 67,000, which is another 17.1% over the original contract price. That's a total increase of 53.2% from our original price. So is it just different than what we expected it was going to be?
Well, this, if you remember the change order, the first change order that came to you, Waste Management gave us $145,000 or close to 150 to do that work on Kelly and Dow. That's where the break stuff is right now. So they should have been starting to work on that. I don't know if they started.
So that 142 increase was not for Reed Valley, it was for Dowell
No,
and Kelly?
that was for Dow and Kelly. The original contract was to do, they were going to seal coat that with they were going to actually go around and do crack sealing. That's what the original contract called for, crack
Okay.
sealing and a fog seal on that area.
So we're adding $67,750 just for this piece on Reed Valley.
That's correct.
And what we're doing there then, we've got 5-inch ACHM mill and repair. It is 10 feet wide,
To the center line.
and then it's, I mean, do we know how long it is, or are we just doing it in patches?
Well, there's 2 areas, Tim. I don't know if you've been down there.
I have, many times. I was there this morning.
Well, there's 2 areas specifically. All you got to do is drive by the pine trees. So one area is, I can't tell you, there's 450 yards of asphalt, so I don't know, I can't tell you how long that is.
No, that's fine. I mean, that helps answer it. So, but we're looking at large sections versus chop.
Yeah, they're fairly large.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, I appreciate it. Thanks for
Any
the
other
interruption, Council.
Anyone else? Okay, we had a motion and a second. Roll call.
Misty?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Mick?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Moving to city.
Next, we have a discussion of a resolution to authorize the mayor to purchase right-of-way for Phase 2 Fletcher. Mr. Latham.
The work on phase 1 of Fletcher is almost complete, right, Zach? Yeah, I think we got a couple of weeks left. Looks really good. And we'd like to start phase 2. Actually, his design and probably go out for bid here pretty soon. But we don't have the land. And so I got an appraisal from Reeds and Associates. I gave you abbreviated one. There was one that is 80 pages longest if you want to look at it. And they came back with the appraised price on it. Not only includes, we need to acquire 1.75 acres in right-of-way, so that's pure land. We also need we have to acquire some permanent utility easements, which is 0.61 acres. And then we need to require some temporary construction easements, which amounts to 1.18 acres. So I'm not the expert when it comes to, and I don't know who here is, but to try to negotiate a contract to purchase that up to the appraised price. This resolution says it gives authorization to the mayor, but I'll leave that up to y'all to determine what you want to do. But we really, really need to get this property one way or another.
I'll make a motion that this passes to the legislative body. Hopefully a second will occur and then we can discuss.
I will second that pending that discussion. Anticipating that discussion, rather.
Chairman Wagner. Mr. Chair, how many properties owners are involved in this these easements?
If I'm not mistaken, just looking at the data scout, I think it's just one.
No kidding. I bet you I know who it is.
I don't know about that, but I think it's just one. Is that right?
Okay. It's a gentleman that was here the other night, I believe.
Questions?
Did you have further questions, Mr. Wagner?
Okay, Mr. Burris.
So I don't know how to read this exactly. As I was prepping the other day, looking through this, the whole property, I think I get that part. The remainder property, I think I even get that part. Where I get confused is the damage to market value. Does that mean that's what it will cost us because of their damage to market value? What's the bottom line cost for the city?
$221,300.
Assuming they accept unless they go to litigation route.
Unless they go to arbitration.
Which is likely.
Which maybe not, because they got to bear the expense, and if the judge says that this is a reasonable one, they get to pay their expense. We have to post a bond. If we have to go to condemnation, we have to post this amount with the court, then go to court within so many days, so it's not a long, drawn-out process. And if the property owner prevails, the judge awards whatever he thinks right, and that's the way it works.
I feel like we got the fuzzy end of the stick the last time that we were negotiating in this area. It was probably a different property owner at the time.
Well, what it does is it just gives you a limit.
Right.
It's not to exceed what your appraised property is.
Okay, thank you.
So,
And that amount then, as Councilmember Wagner mentioned earlier, is $221,300. Okay, thank you.
Danny?
No, sir, I don't have anything. You got a first and a second?
Mike?
I'm waiting.
I've got nothing else.
Okay, roll call.
Misty,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Moving on.
Next, we have a discussion of an ordinance amending 31.04 and 50.005 of the Tontitown Municipal Code. Mr. Wagner.
Thank you, Chair. A few thoughts before I make a motion. The purpose of this ordinance is to clarify and reaffirm organization structure of the city's water and sewer department by reorganizing the water and sewer manager as a department head and establish a direct reporting responsibility to the mayor. This is codified already in section 31.04, but this reaffirms and clarifies some issues, more particularly in reference to ACA 1443-502, 602, 102, and 1455, 102, and 1442, 110. This ordinance does not create a new department or a new position. The council previously adopted the code, as mentioned, it's already been codified. Over time, organization changes has created uncertainty regarding reporting relationships and departmental authority. The ordinance simply clarifies and reaffirms the council's original intent. Why you should pass this ordinance. It provides clear accountability, establishes a direct chain of command, supports regulatory compliance. Water and wastewater are heavily regulated by state and federal agencies. Utility operations should be directed by qualified personnel familiar with applicable licensing and regulatory requirements, clarifies responsibility of inspection, reporting, and emergency, promotes public health and safety, safe drinking water, wastewater, or essential public services. Utility emergencies require prompt attention. No fiscal impact, no new positions, no increases in salaries, requires no additional expenditures. I recommend approval of this ordinance, which reaffirms the council's original intent of 2015. And with that, I make a motion that this is forwarded to the city council agenda or for the legislative session.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
May I, Mr. Chair?
Please.
Yeah, I've read through this pretty thoroughly, and the only thing that I see that we're going to most definitely have to change, we're going to have to change our organizational chart again.
Yes, there will be that, but maybe some other things that'll be discussed later might impact that as well. But this is
Gotcha.
anticipating a sister resolution amending the existing city organization chart, which is clearly subject to what I've been speaking to.
And this ordinance that you brought forward to us is necessitated in particular by section 52.005, which currently has the control authority listed as the Tontitown Water and Sewer Commission, which is defunct. And it's been
For
voted
several
out-
years.
Yes, for about 11, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So, yeah, I think I see no harm in this being adopted as an ordinance because it certainly clears up the ambiguities and contradictory functions, if you will, of city government.
Anyone else?
Yes,
Mr. Burrs.
If my history of Tontitown serves me well, there was some controversy 11 or so years ago about this. And when it changed, am I now to understand that after that change that it never became official? Or is it just that there are some things that we need to change to tighten that up?
I think it's a Scrivener's error that was overlooked when the codification came about. I don't know the exact verbiage that was in the ordinance, but fact is, it's there. We need to fix it.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you.
What else? Roll call.
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mick, Daniel,
Yes.
Misty.
Yes.
Next, we have a discussion of an ordinance establishing 2 city council meetings and abolishing the committee of the whole meeting. Mr. Montez.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I presented you all with an ordinance here to do essentially that, what the chair had said, abolishing the the committee of the whole and creating 2 regular legislative sessions for city council business. I think that this will help us move a little bit faster. We're able to get things a little quicker, get done quicker here in the city chambers. I think we'll still have the discussion that we have here, that we have at the COW. It's just going to be spread amongst 2 meetings rather than just the one and trying to rush through that city council meeting. With that, it also would create advisory committees, and it lines those out in the next couple sections. There's one for finance and audit committee responsibilities, and then there's one that is for public works and infrastructure. And then the third one would be planning and economic development. And then a fourth one would be personnel and administration committees. And a fifth one would be parks and community relations. And each of those, it has sections throughout there that kind of explain how to rotate aldermen through those committees and oversee the business that takes place at those meetings. And how we would kind of structure that, and it would help us have some eyes that are, within those bodies and help things go a little faster and get things pushed to the city council so that we can essentially handle business in a quicker manner. So I don't know if anybody's got any questions.
You're going to make a motion so we can just.
Sir, I would like to make a motion and we can discuss after a second.
And I will second.
All right, discussion.
I have questions. So you're saying that we schedule time during the day to come to these committee meetings?
Closer to the mic.
Closer, I mean, when they're having their meetings. Is that what I'm understanding?
No, ma'am, they would also be on Tuesdays, evenings, or at any meeting, I think right here, it says, well, the legislative meetings would happen on the first and third Tuesday of each month. Those committees would establish when they'd meet. I think they would meet on their own at a separate time, and then those items would come to the city council meetings to be implemented.
So maybe I don't think I'm understanding. So each of us on the council would have a committee that we're responsible for. And so we would have to go to an additional meetings outside of, which would be during the day, because that's when our staff works.
Essentially, yeah, I mean, it could be structured that way, or it could be structured after. I mean, it's up to interpretation, really.
Could I get clarification? I believe what you're describing is work sessions. So as far as material impact on the budget, there are none. This mirrors pretty close, I think, Alderman Montez, to what the city of Springdale does. And in fact, there is no hard, fast rules that every committee has something to discuss every month. It is more as a la carte, and the chairman decides when there's enough to get everybody together. It affords the council a better amount of time and to ask questions, and exactly what's happening here tonight. But rather than having item Q or P or wherever we're at to number, we've got legislative meetings to take up, and we should, and I think maybe a sister amendment to this would be, why do we in our ordinances say that an ordinance or resolution shall be reviewed by the barrister of the city at least 5 days prior to any meeting? Well, as you saw some of my recommendations tonight, why not just let everybody see the same draft? That gives everybody the time to do their own research, find their own faults or enhancements or whatever. And then when it comes before the legislative body, they can amend the ordinance, table the ordinance, do whatever they want. They control, once an agenda is approved by, then it is owned by the council, and the council can take whatever action. For an example, Mr. Montez, if he sponsors something and gets a second, and there's a lot of discussion, and he sees that it ain't going to fly, he can pull that ordinance and say, I tabled it. I'm in my motion to table the ordinance, to take it back and redraft and bring it back the next time. I mean, it gives us the same functionalities we got, but the problem we got right now is tonight, very well demonstrated. Something that probably should have been done is make notification or affirmative action. I can talk about hypocrisy, and it's well displayed in this body for the last 12 months. If you do a review of the CAL, you have in fact took some affirmative actions that weren't supposed to happen, but you had to out of the expedience of time. This helps eliminate some of that, and I think it's well put together, Mr. Montez.
Mike.
Yes, sir. I'm presuming these committees, that was one of my issues too, is just the timing of the meetings. Some of these obviously aren't going to have to be held on a weekly or even monthly basis. I don't know that we already have a Parks Committee. Is that kind of creating?
Excuse me, where's that in the code? I've been looking for that.
Well, I don't know that it's been put into code.
Where's it in the code?
So,
okay.
Yeah. That can maybe something that if this is adopted, we've got it in the code. I would also, remote attendance to committee meetings, I assume would be permissible, since we're not taking legislative action. I assume we could participate remotely.
That's my understanding.
Yes, I would think.
You can. You just got to comply with the FOIA still, right? So.
Okay.
These all will be public meetings, because assuming it doesn't limit, even though you're a chair, let's say, for instance, of a committee, it doesn't limit everybody on this council to attend who they want to. Just
Yes,
like
sir.
You oftentimes attend planning commission meetings, some of you do.
Right.
And so it gives us a lot of flexibility. We're used to complying with FLOIA. There's no big lot of complications about it.
So that brings the question, once the committee decides to meet, does it go through the same process of FOIA notification in that we notify recorder treasurer, who then notifies the appropriate media?
Yeah, just like
So
you
same
do in your
process.
standard council meetings, it can
Okay.
be put on the web. These committees may meet on such and such days. It
Okay.
doesn't mean we always will, but to be overly cautious, you can say it does meet on these days. If there's no action items, nothing to be done, you've notified the press, you've notified the public. And correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I agree with everything Mr. Wagner said.
Okay, so that sounds like to me, and what I'm hearing is we want to create a specific time for these committees to have their meetings so that we don't have to say, okay, Ms. Artemani, we're calling a committee meeting of the Public Works Infrastructure Committee on Thursday at 10 o'clock. It'll be scheduled in advance at a certain time. Is that what we want?
I would think you'd leave that up to the chair of each committee to establish when that committee convenes, and then they would schedule that.
And that doesn't necessarily, I wouldn't think, have to be put into this ordinance.
Correct.
These specific times. These can be established and put on the website or something like that.
Exactly.
And I just want to follow up on something I think Mr. Wagner's already added to. Hopefully, should this pass and we go to 2 legislative meetings, we may not have agendas that go through the alphabet.
Yeah, right.
So
that's the intent.
So, okay, I think that's all I have right now.
Chairman,
Please.
just as a point of clarification, if I understand correctly, there were two different sponsors that had 2 different things that said basically this. I believe one of those was Councilmember Montez, and there's a separate one from Councilmember Wagner. Is that correct?
I withdraw mine and support Mr. Montez.
Okay, I did, thank you. I didn't know if these were combined or if it was one or the other. Thank you for that.
I can speak to that if you like. They were both
Sure.
submitted to me for legal review, and I kind of married them together and did my usual thing to them.
Okay, thank you. Sure. I'm not a huge fan of getting rid of the cow, but I will be completely honest with you. It's because I hate change. The truth is, I believe that we are really redundant by having a cow meeting and then sending it all off to a legislative meeting. And as has been mentioned before, there have been many, many times where we've had to do special meetings after the fact. I like that we have a chairman of the cow. I like who our chairman of the cow is. I enjoy the nature of this. It seems like we have an opportunity to discuss. I don't know that that would necessarily have to change, but as long as we can make things more efficient, I think that's good. One of the questions that I had was the way it stands right now, from time to time, we have to have a special meeting to get something done. And I suspect even under this, there would still be some times when that happens, but generally we have a special meeting after the cow. When we have a special meeting that's on a different night, that always costs the city another $100 per meeting per person. Would this save that cost, or does it add to that cost? Because every time we have one of these meetings, they are therefore special and cost the city more money. That's my first question. I'll wait for an answer.
I would assume.
I'll address that. This is a work session. I believe your code says work session, you don't get paid.
Correct. Yes, sir.
So
Okay,
you're going to have to be willing to work for free, Mr. Burris.
understood. Not something I'm all that excited about.
As far as a special would be concerned, I would think, having two legislative sessions a month opposed to the one, you would have a better chance of pushing whatever that special is to the next legislative meeting. But are there going to be some that have to be done, retroactively? I'm assuming, sure, that would happen, but you would still be paying out for the councilman to come to that special regardless.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I certainly don't mind attending work sessions free of charge. It's just one of the great services to the great city of Tontitown. That's good. I do have another question, however. I noticed that we've got these standing committees, Finance and Audit Committee, Public Works and Infrastructure, Planning and Economic Development, Personnel and Administration, Parks and Community Relations. I thought that existed. I crossed off my question about that. Should we not have a sixth that is the museum, or does that fall under Parks and Community Relations?
You've opened a kettle of fish there. The city has defined in their codes a museum commission, which the word commission versus committee imparts totally different authorities, responsibilities, and so forth. I'll let the barrister opine to that to some degree, but that it seems to be something that needs to be addressed, but perhaps that could be done at a later date.
Well, I didn't mean to open, how did you put it, a kettle of fish? I did not mean to do that. That might have something to do with the odors over on the other side of town. With that said, since that kettle of fish is now opened, I did make a recommendation early this year that we sit down with the museum commission. I didn't know that's what that was called, to talk through some things, and we haven't done that yet. I think that that's a really important thing that we do before the end of the year. And perhaps in the midst of that, these come together somehow. But with that said, if our counselor, Mr. Farrar, has anything to add to that, I would sure love to hear it.
No, I think you just want to look at your code about the museum stuff. I think it has its own charter potentially. I mean, there's some documents that created that. So if you're going to make it a committee, that's fine. We'll just need to undo some of that stuff through revising your ordinances.
Okay.
Beyond that, I don't really have anything to add right now.
So just to wrap up here, despite my hesitancy to make some change, I must admit that I can't really find anything wrong with the change. And I see that there might actually be some benefits.
May I ask one other question?
One more
please?
question.
I noticed department head meetings or reports. Did I miss that in this? Or are we going to continue with those? Or are there going to be changes to how they report instead of reporting it? I mean, are we still going to require the monthly reports like they do at the city council meetings?
I believe that would necessitate a change to the structure of our meetings.
Yeah, I think, the finance report that we get would be inside the first section, Finance and Audit Committee. In the Public Works and Infrastructure, you would have those reports reported to them. Planning reports and Economic Development, that would be in there.
Okay.
Public Safety would be put into.
I'm good. Yeah. So we're basically going to keep the same meeting structure we've got right now.
Essentially.
It's essential. Okay.
Yeah, that's
I'm good
my
with that.
intention. Yeah.
It's something earth shattering, I'm sure, but I'll pass.
Shatter the earth.
Call a question.
Yep. Roll call.
Okay, this is to move it to next city council.
Yes.
Tim?
You had to start with me. Sure. Yes.
Mick?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Misty?
No.
Daniel? Yes.
Larry?
No.
Moving on, city council.
Okay. Next, we have a discussion of an ordinance adopting the city's drainage criteria manual. Mr. Wagner.
If I may ask you, Chair, if we could consider N and O together, if that's proper, Barrister. because they're closely related, and the position paper I've got that I'm going to put forth speaks collectively.
Why don't you make that a motion and vote on it?
Okay. I make a motion that we read items N and O together as they're closely related and deal with a lot of the same things, but it's different code sections, consequently two different amending ordinances. So at your pleasure, we can take them one at a time. I'll just read the same introductory twice if that's what you want to do. It's up to y'all.
No, I'll second that, and we can discuss
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just discussing the ordinances, we're not passing them anyway.
Oh, no.
So you're right,
No,
right,
no,
right,
no.
right.
I'm
Okay,
just-
sure.
Uh,
I'm good with that.
Okay, so for that, the reasoning for supporting the adoption of these two items is the purpose of these ordinances to formally adopt a city drainage criteria manual, clarify administrative responsibilities for the floodplain management, stormwater administration, drainage review, and related enforcement activities. Although the city has utilized drainage and stormwater standards for years, portions of the Muni Code or reference drainage criteria and floodplain responsibilities without clearly identifying the applicable standards or responsible officials. These ordinances establish a clear framework for both technical standards and administrative oversights. Approval of these ordinances will formally adopt the city's drainage criteria manual as the official engineering standard for drainage, stormwater detention, and erosion. Clarify enforcement and administration of drainage and stormwater requirements. Designate the city engineer as the primary flood administrator and technical authority for FEMA, NFIP, drainage, and stormwater matters. Designate the planning director as the deputy floodplain administrator to provide continuity of operations and permit coordinations. Designate the code enforcement officer as the city's primary field enforcement official for floodplain drainage, erosion control, and stormwater compliance issues. Improve consistency in development with review and infrastructure planning. Support flood prevention and protection of public and private property. Strengthen FEMA, floodplain, and stormwater regulatory compliance. Provide transparency by making adopted standards publicly available, and protect the city's investment in streets, drainage, stormwater facilities, and other publics. These ordinances do not substantially extend government or require significant expenditures. Rather, they clarify standards already being performed by city staff consultants while creating a clear and defensible administrative structure for future growth. For these reasons, I make a motion that both of these ordinances and amending, or should I say amending ordinances, are moved forward to the legislative session.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Since we're, do you want to do these separately going forward, or you?
Yeah, they'll be separate items on
Okay.
the agenda. I was just trying to save a little bit of time because the beer clock turned on about 15 minutes ago. And this would allow us to put these both on there without having to read it twice.
And and I appreciate that, and I think this, both of these are pretty good. The Tontitown Drainage Criteria Manual, 2021 it was adopted, is that correct?
Sort of.
And 2019, okay. Who prepared that document for us? Okay, I scrolled through some of it. I did not read it word for word. I picked out certain sections of it. One question I do have, and maybe, I don't know, I hope you can answer this, Mr. Clark. Have there been, have problems arisen because of our current code, which I think this is in particular, 152.146 is in conflict with provisions of the Drainage Criteria Manual?
Would you mind stepping to the microphone, Mr. Clark? I'm so sorry.
I'm not aware of anything off the top of my head that has come to light as far as going against that code. I could be wrong.
Again, it's a 370-page document, so,
Yes.
I mean, it's hard to cite it verbatim, but I assume it essentially supports what's in our code, reinforces what's in our code, and what Mr. Wagner is proposing is people who are looking to the manual and to the codes will have a reporting structure that they know that to get their questions answered for either one of these, the code or the manual, who to come to. Is that correct?
There is,
Which
there
is
is
not me.
ambiguity, and as I had a senior planner who's about 50 years' experience, has looked over that, who, by the way, brought up the 2008 version. He had some concerns that you were referencing things that didn't exist, and most recently, problems. Let me tell you the problem. There was a project going on just north of my pond. I think y'all all witnessed the Red Sea flood, and there was not sufficient enforcement, erosion abatement, and such. And this gives a clear definition of who does what. Should have happened, but what are you going to do about it? Because you didn't really have a clear understanding of just who was supposed to enforce that. So who reached out to the developer and slash his construction manager. So this is not an attempt to change anything massively, but to clean up and remove the ambiguities and make it where it's more defensible. I will give you a same reference, not to get prolonged here, but there is an occasion that happened when Dale Bumpers was a senator a long time ago. But inside the river levees in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, there was people had FEMA flood insurance, but there were some ambiguities in their code, according to this individual who a lot older than me and wiser, and he said it took forever and a lot of legislative arm twisting to say, okay, it's maybe not real clear, but I look at numerous sources when I start thinking about changing things. And that was another thing that got me perked up because, you know, there's an interesting building at 2049 South Barrington. I know the guy that owns that building. It has flood insurance. And if there's some problem that the dam breaks on the largest retention pond in Arkansas, or not Arkansas, but at least the city of Tontitown, I would certainly like to feel comfortable that my flood insurance is going to be paid for by FEMA.
So that's a question that I had, Mr. Wagner, Councilmember Wagner, is are we currently in compliance so that somebody doesn't lose their livelihood, lose their fortune, file bankruptcy because we aren't doing what we need to do on our side?
I can't speak to that. That's a hypothetical question that I don't know with certainty. Therefore, I'm going to answer it in the same way you ask it. Due to the fact that there is ambiguities that's been pointed out by individuals that's reviewed this, I think that's another compelling reason why we need to move forward and remove those doubts.
Okay, thank you.
And Ms. Farrar, if you want to weigh in on any of this, we'd appreciate your advice and counsel.
Ask me something.
Does it clear up the ambiguities that we're talking about?
I think it does. Yeah, I think this is needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's sufficient for me. And you're speaking to both. I did have a question about, can we go straight to O about section 153? I think it's 153 that this particular ordinance addresses. I don't, and maybe this is just me.
What paragraph are you referring to?
It's the ordinance, the next ordinance. It's supposed to be under O, the floodplain.
Yeah, but which section?
What paragraph, what section?
Well, I'm just referring to the title, chapter 150. It says chapter 153. You know, 153 is a large part of our code.
Exactly.
So I just want to know, I mean, do we insert this as 153.002 authority purpose or I mean, you see what I'm saying? I
This
mean,
is amending ordinance. It amends chapter 153 and various wordings throughout. Doesn't replace it, amends various sections or talks that are pointed out.
so we don't need to put a
No,
number
this is
on.
not this is not creating a new division, chapter or otherwise. This is merely amending existing codes, verbiage and clarification.
So, and that's kind of where my question is, if this were to be adopted and it's put on, into the code book, where does it go? Right at the
It
front?
amends the various sections through 157. The codifier will take these amending ordinances and lift them and put where the changes need to be made and clarify what is existing already to remove ambiguity.
Okay.
So it would go into, say, section 4, section 5, section 6, section 7. Are those literally sections in 153?
No, I don't think so. Those are speaking to sections of the amending ordinance which amends an entire chapter. And the wording that is set forth more clearly is imparted into the existing chapters 153.
Can we get a red line on that, Mr. Farrar?
I thought there was one.
Not in our packet.
Can you get a red line of what? This ordinance?
Chapter 153.
This one, here's the red line.
Yeah, you all should always have my red lines, right? This shouldn't be a thing.
Excuse me, I forwarded the red line attorney reviewed, I think is the way it titled.
Okay.
5 days ago, whenever Tyler, the
that
modus operandus I used is I sent my rough draft, Tyler blessed it, put his christening holy water on it, and then I took that version, the red line version, and forwarded on and asked for it to be put
So
to the
that's what
agenda.
this is then here?
Now, whether or not
Well,
it got
is it
put
just the
there, I'm
resolution?
sorry, but
I will say that when, for whatever reason, when I open my email, I'm not getting red lines in the copies that I'm getting
Correct.
from Mr. Farrar.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's
Neither
happening
am
there.
I.
Is that true for
But-
everyone?
Correct.
And generally, we would have these in our packet.
I'm getting it. Have you got, I'm not a IT expert, where's Brad, but I mean, you've got to turn on a review or something
Yeah.
when you're opening the Word
Yeah, do
document.
you all ever look at Word documents redlined? Is this a normal thing for you? You may just need to update
No,
your setting.
I don't think I ever had any problem when Mr. Eichmann was sending out
Oh.
red line stuff. So
Yeah,
I don't.
Weird, 'cause
Maybe there's a setting that I need to check. I don't.
You
I'm
looked
not,
over my shoulder earlier and saw that I sent
I
it
did,
out redlined to all of
absolutely,
you. And
yeah.
Mr. Wagner
And it-
got it.
It printed out fine
I don't
for Miss Madeline when
sorry.
she printed it
This
off
is
for
the
me, but
next item.
for whatever reason, I'm not getting
Yeah,
them.
I don't know. We can look into
So we
that.
don't have it. Yeah, I don't have, yeah, Mr. Farrar, yeah, my Apple devices don't have your red lines, but my Word document, and I might have something turned on, but
Yeah.
my desktop at my house.
So just a word, in the future, if that happens, just email me and say,
Oh, yeah.
this is not redlined. Could I have a copy? Because
Well, when I did,
You said it
you
was
sent it
already
back,
good. It was the
and it
same thing.
still wasn't red line.
Yeah, me too.
So.
okay, well, tell me next time and I'll figure something out.
I do know that it eats up some more paper, but if those could end up in our packet each time as well, that would be wonderful.
So I guess my big question there are a lot of changes in O that happen throughout 153. Do they have to be put where?
You can take a copy of all that, have someone make you a copy. That's the one I got from Tyler, and I forwarded it on to the recorder treasurer and say, add this to the agenda, and clear up the red lines. I mean, so we had a final draft, but maybe I should have just said, send it in the red line version. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe Madeline listened to a bald-headed guy she shouldn't have and left it red line and sent it there. I'm not sure how that happened.
I'm not either, but it is kind of strange, and I'm glad I'm not the only one that's suffering through this.
Okay.
But, can I take just a second to review? I don't think I'm sure there's not any problems with it, but.
I mean,
Well,
I
guess-
do recall looking over that on the computer, that version that you have right there, because Mr. Wagner has been very forthcoming with his documents that he sends to Mr. Farrar. So we're able to get those. So I have been reviewing those. So I do remember reviewing that and seeing that it's goes throughout the whole 153 code. But yeah, it's not in my packet here tonight. But yeah, I did review that. So if you want to review that and get copies of that made so that you have that for the next city council meeting, that would work too. But as far as it being in your packet within your book that you picked up, it's not there.
What I'm getting is, I'm getting the redlined version, but it's just not showing up in red. So I get it. When I'm comparing what we have in my packet and what I printed off, it just doesn't show up in red for me for whatever reason. And I'll see if there's a setting that I can look at.
And to that, that's like, I'll get those emails and it'll say it's the red line version, and I'll open it up on my phone and try to preview it, and I won't see it. But as soon as I go to my desktop on my Windows at my house, it's there. So
It's not
I
on
think
mine.
it's something to do, something fishy with my Apple devices that I haven't messed with yet. But it is there later when I get to the house that maybe I did turn something on. So it could be an IT issue that we've got going on. Because he's definitely redlining stuff.
Mr. Clark.
I just have a question for clarification. Item N says adopting the Tontitown drainage criteria manual. Are you making any changes to the manual itself? Because it has been adopted.
I think, let's go to that, P.
N.
Yeah, there we go. Here's a red line on section 2. Further amendments and revisions for the drainage criteria manual shall not become effective unless approved by the city council. And then on paragraph section 3, purpose and applicability or whatever, are bylaws added by Mr. Tyler. A true and correct copy of the adopted drainage criteria manual shall be maintained in the office of the city clerk or treasurer. Commented, this was intended to address scenario of splitting up the positions. Section conflicts required by law. Section 7, emergency clause, had some more verbiage in there. But essentially, I think it is formally adopting and clarifying, tying the two situations together.
Okay.
But
I just wanted to make sure you knew that it was adopted. I mean, that item N sounds like that it has never been adopted, but it was in 2021.
He's got red lines
I know.
within it that he's changing. Yes.
All right, thank
I think just a point of clarity here, Mr. Clark was saying that item N has already been adopted, and yeah,
We're just amending it.
got it, okay.
Anything else?
So chapter 153, that's zoning regulations in our municipal code, is that correct? An
There's a
ordinance amending
lot.
chapter 153 and related provisions, as I
There's a
looked that
lot
up.
to it, though.
I'm sorry?
There's a lot to.
There is a lot to it, but I see the word floodplain in it one time. And so I'm having, and I apologize for this, but I'm having a hard time seeing where the red line lines up specifically with our chapter codes, as has been.
I think you guys are getting
practice.
mixed up what you're talking about with redlining. I redlined the ordinance submitted by Mr. Wagner to me. No one has redlined code 153.
And that's what I'm asking for. Is
That has
redlining.
not happened yet.
Okay, so it's been our practice historically, and I understand that you haven't been involved in these before, either of you, and that's fine. It doesn't mean we have to do it, but that has been what we've been accustomed to seeing is, this is the code, these are the changes. And I don't have a problem with anything I see here. I just don't see how it lines up in our existing chapter 153.
Right, so that's not gonna happen spontaneously, right? You guys are gonna have to ask me to do that, or
Sure.
you guys are gonna have to legislate that to happen.
Okay.
So one of those things needs to happen, and it has not yet.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. And a lot of discussion.
We're voting on N and O both together.
N, M,
Let's
yes.
do one and then the other.
Yes, let's, now,
We've already voted to combine them for
to,
this.
yeah, we voted to combine them, I believe.
Oh,
You didn't vote at
Actually,
all.
no, you didn't. You had a motion and a second, then no vote was taken. You guys kind of just agreed it was okay,
The
so.
motion was to combine them, sorry.
Call the roll, please.
So we are motioning to combine N and O and move it to,
No,
Okay.
Let's move
no,
them separate.
leave them separate, but
Okay.
move them to the agenda
Yeah.
Okay.
at the
We
legislative
will-
meeting.
so we're going to take 2 votes?
2 votes, yes.
Okay, this is for N.
Thank you.
Larry,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Mick,
Yep,
Mike.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to do a motion and a second for O.
Yes, I make a motion, we accept O.
Second.
Roll call.
Larry,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty,
No.
Tim,
Yes.
Mick,
yes,
Mike.
Yes.
Okay, both moving on.
Next, we have a resolution, a discussion of a resolution authorizing the engagement of professional services agreement with Jeff Hawkins. Mr. Wagner.
thank you, sir. And in conversations with Brad, and I think he's ultimately had conversations with maybe the planning commission chair and others. Right now, the city spends $1,000 a month to have an attorney come, and the last trip was at 45 minutes, so that's a pretty good hourly rate. Ultimately, the lawyer, which I have nothing to say negative about her at all, it's just felt that money is better spent to be able to spend $1,000, so it's budget neutral, to be able to have a dial-a friend. Not only would Mr. Hawkins be available either by Zoom or in person for planning commission meetings, there was a question, and I thought a very detailed question at the last planning commission meeting. Could we do this or could we do that? The attorney said you couldn't, but before it ever got to that, in addition to Mr. Hawkins being there, if Brad had some questions, it would be really nice to be able to pick up the phone and have a set number, a book of hours, so to speak, that he could reach out and tap the experience of a 50-year-old seasoned planner. He used to be the executive vice president of the Northwestern Arkansas Regional Planning Commission. And so therefore, that's what spurred this suggestion to take money out of the left pocket and put it in the right, and seek the guidance of a seasoned planner, because when it gets down to the lick log, so to speak, and if we do get sued, I don't think that attorney is going to be the one. It's going to be the guy on my left that, or the municipal league, that ultimately will wind up in the mix. So that's why I made this and brought it forward and agreed to sponsor it, because our code says that alderman or the mayor may sponsor an ordinance. The mayor's not a member of the committee of the whole as it exists now, and that's why I did that. And I would make a motion that we forward this to the legislative session.
I'll make that second.
Discussion, Mike.
I certainly have, the only thing that brought up any concern, I guess, was Mr. Farrar's email response, and this may not be an issue at all. But are we sure that should we terminate the planning services of the attorney coming to a planning commission meeting, are we sure that they're willing to stay on board doing the prosecutions?
I don't have an answer to that, right?
Okay.
We would need to contact Harrington Miller and confirm as much.
So that's my only concern. We don't, I mean, I get it, it's budget neutral, and that's good. And every person I've ever talked to that has had any interactions with Mr. Hawkins has nothing but the highest of praise for him. So I guess that would be my biggest.
Can I back up? When I took over from Harrington Miller, they had asked if they could continue doing planning, and I didn't want to step on toes.
Sure.
I was fine with that. So the engagement letter is in place for the ancillary legal services, planning and prosecuting, right? So I think if we give them notice we're not going to use that anymore, we can do two things. You just keep the engagement letter in place for prosecuting, or I'll get with Mr. Eichmann and we can get a new engagement letter if they wish to continue. I don't think they're going to say, well, you're not using this for planning anymore. We're going to terminate your engagement letter and not do your prosecuting. That would surprise me. But if they do, you're going to have to find someone else because I'm not doing it.
Right. Yeah, I think that was clearly explained when we were doing the negotiations. Because it seems like and I don't know how much they do, but it seems like it's pretty fair price for the prosecution side of it. And I certainly don't want to jeopardize that part of the engagement.
If there's any concern at all with that, I love being neutral on the cost, but we have spent $12,000 on all manner of nonsense over the years, and it may not be a bad idea, if necessary, to keep both, to have one and add Mr. Hawkins. I'm with Mr. Wishkowiak, Councilmember Wishkowiak. I've literally never heard anybody anywhere say anything negative about Mr. Hawkins. And I know he's a wealth of knowledge. I've met him a few times, and it would be wonderful to have him to consult with. But if we still need to maintain a relationship with Harrington Miller, I'm not opposed to doing both here. One comment commented by Mr. Farrar, if Mr. Hawkins conducts business through a business entity, LLC, et cetera, we need to make mention of that here. So we would need to know that. And with that particular verbiage in mind, that would be the only thing that I would even consider changing.
Misty, anything? Danny, anything?
The only question I've got is there was a copy of this redlined on our desk. Is there any reason that it's not part of this packet? Because it looks like it's this in the packet as well. It just doesn't have any red lines in it.
That was just our last minute belief that you guys weren't getting red lines, so we just we figured it out and printed it out, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That was good.
I kind of like the idea of if we're going to do something, we're going to make a change. I think we should probably save on the legal side. And if we're going to appoint Mr. Hawkins to have that advisory role with the council, I think that, or with the planning commission, that would be beneficial. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I don't know if they have a question, it couldn't come to our city attorney and be answered. It might not happen exactly at that time as he's not attending those meetings, but I think we've got representation on that side where they can help out with that. But I think honestly, the wealth of knowledge that Mr. Hawkins brings to the table would be sufficient in guiding them as they go forward, so that's kind of my 2 cents on the subject.
And as strange as it seems, I'm kind of siding with Mr. Burris here. I think pretty strange. I think that as everybody has said, Mr. Hawkins is just a wealth of knowledge and experience and whatnot, but having legal counsel might not hurt also. So that's kind of where I'm leaning also.
So are both of you, are y'all proposing amendments to this? And is that going to require an amendment to the budget?
Well, yes, and maybe. I think we still need somebody who's willing to do the prosecuting side, and we still need to be able to discuss with Harrington Miller. I don't at all mind hiring Mr. Hawkins if he's willing. I also don't necessarily mind not using Harrington Miller. I don't mind using Harrington Miller. But I think that they're in different places. I think they do different things.
Mr. Burris, how many planning commission meetings have you either viewed or been to in the last year?
12.
Well, tell me how many times that there's actually been consultation of an attorney. And I don't care, but out of one side of our mouth, we talk about budget neutral and saving things. On the other hand, you've got a letter engagement that gives 30 days notice to either party. Mr. Eichmann gave us 30 days notice. We don't even know. We're still trajectorying, and so it seems to me like if you pass it and they say you don't want to, you've got 30 days to find a prosecutor.
Well, I don't
think
have
there's a
problem.
shortage of prosecutors in Northwest Arkansas.
I don't necessarily have a problem with any of that.
Okay.
And I do agree. I've often thought having an attorney sitting in on those meetings is unnecessary.
Okay.
But that's where I look to Councilor Farrar here, and based on his comments, that's where that came from.
Are you asking me a question? Sorry.
No, just using you as
Okay.
a reference to an earlier conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question, Mr. Farrar. Do you suppose it would be possible in the next 2 weeks prior to the legislative meeting, if this budget goes forward, that you reach out to Mr. Eichmann and see if there's a problem with amending his or his firm's letter of engagement? And at that time, that puts a whole new wrinkle on things. And when we come to the legislative meeting, we'd be funded with that knowledge. And then if we need to, well, we leave them on. But if not, why, we not have to amend the budget.
Just to
I'm
answer,
amenable to that.
yeah, to answer the question, Mr. Wagner, absolutely not. Mr. Eichmann has been nothing but accommodating. He's taken every phone call I've ever, he spent a lot of time helping me. I can have that conversation with him tomorrow.
Great.
I want to make sure I
Sounds right.
understand clearly. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What you're saying is, if they're good with the status quo, then we amend the budget, we add an extra cost of Mr. Hawkins. If they don't want to continue, because we're breaking one part of the agreement, then we reassess at that point and look for another prosecutor. Is that right?
Or we just,
Did I misunderstand, or am I not stating correctly what you're saying?
I thought I made it clear, if this resolution moves forward as presented, prior to the legislative meeting where it could be voted on, Mr. Farrar said he could contact maybe as soon as tomorrow, and if there's a problem, then we address it at that time. And
Just
you
making
either say
sure
we're
I
gonna spend another
completely
1,000.
understand what you're saying.
I'm just trying to look at taxpayers' dollars here, fellas and ladies.
And I appreciate that too.
Thank you.
Okay. Roll call.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty,
No.
Tim,
yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Mick.
Yes,
Moving on. City.
Next, we have scope of service with Landmark.
I was the one that asked this to be amended to the agenda, and Mr. Montez says he's already got this, but I just thought this would be, it's not, asking anybody, but let me just say, this resolution does not authorize expenditures of funds, approve a contract, or retain any professional service provider. Rather, it simply requests a detailed proposal, scope of services, implementation plan, fee quotation from Landmark Accounting, a firm that already submitted qualifications in response to both audit and accounting services. The purpose of this action is to obtain information necessary for the City Council to evaluate whether additional accounting assistance would improve financial reporting, expenditures, classifications, and otherwise. Because the resolution only seeks information and does not commit the city to any expenditures, approval at this meeting would allow Landmark sufficient time to prepare a response and could potentially be returned to the city council consideration by the next regular council meeting. Adding this item will help avoid unnecessary delays in evaluation potential accounting assistance. For these reasons, I respectfully ask that this be moved forward, not necessarily as an agenda item, but just give the clerk treasurer, who ultimately is would be affected by assistance of accounting, to at least get some prices on what it's going to cost us. I provided the council, before I was on this commission, a similar, if you would, quotation that they are doing for another entity. I am familiar with Landmark. Actually, Landmark was merged with a company called Bale Barkley, and they currently do still, I believe, Mr. Clark, do the interim books for NACA as well. So this is not their first rodeo. This is not something abstract. As a matter of fact, Washington Water is the second company, and I provided y'all with the scope of services they do for them. All I'm asking is the council gives the clerk treasurer the responsibility of sending that list to Landmark and say, hey, what's it going to cost us? Because we already know what it's going to cost somebody else, so we've got a little bit of advantage because we say, well, why are you going to charge us more? How about a little discount for us because we're needing all the help we can get?
I'll second that.
Discussion.
I see no harm in this. I mean, I think this is a great idea. I think this gets us where we need to go.
I just wanted to look at we were supposed to be provided handouts of what
Yeah.
those things were.
Right here.
It's something Landmark.
Take that one.
Is that this
Which
one?
The one that I've got is check the box type situations, and in fact, the reason I
I've got it, Brad. They've got it.
gave that
They've got it.
was I got it from whatever.
I gave you a packet of information that shows you the specific request for statements of qualifications. It outlines it. Then Danny had sent me, after we had the first round, you see his email that he sent to me. And you see the email I sent to Mr. Chris
Cluck.
asking him to address that. So you have that information.
Thank you.
My email again. Yeah, it looks like it. Get 1 page there. Yeah, but Mr. Ferrara, he'd like one. You and the rest of them. Check mark.
I don't have any further questions on this.
Mr. Burris?
No questions. Thank you.
Sorry, Chair. I'm sorry, Chair. Could you restate what this item is? It is a discussion or
Yes, it's just a discussion, scope service, and
on scopes of service for the CPA? Okay.
and now I guess just need to find out if.
I made the motion to move it forward,
Right,
to
and-
allow
and
her
ma-
to send.
All right, and Misty did second, so roll call.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Misty.
Yes.
This is all we got to do.
Next, we have a discussion about arbitration with Godwin and Godwin.
Okay, I amended this, or asked for an amendment to the agenda, and I moved to amend this agenda to add discussion and possible action authorizing the city attorney to retain specialized outside arbitration counsel for the Goodwin arbitration demand. The city recently received $1.9 million damages related to Highway 71 Water East improvements. Given the complexity of construction claims, engineering issues, and American Arbitration Association procedures, it is prudent the city consider where specialized arbitration counsel should be retained. I made mention, and I'll mention it again, I'm not sure how many, if all of y'all have read the statement of claims, but before I turn it over to Mr. Farrar to give his 2 cents worth on this, the arbitration procedure moves at a fast track. And Connors and Winters, I'm very familiar with because I've retained them at some time. They, until April, were about a 100-man law firm regionally. They got bought. I forget the name of the firm that bought them, or merged, or whatever, how you want to say it, but now they're up to 800 lawyers. I think they can put a full court press on Mr. Farrar, and I'm not sure how much time he's got, but I'll turn that over to Mr. Farrar.
No, I appreciate that. I actually heard a good analogy this week, or last week or sometime, that lawyers are kind of like golf clubs, right? So I hope that I'm your putter, your driver, something special, or something that you use regularly and you rely on. But you need a sand wedge for this one, and I would fully support whatever this looks like if you want me to talk to some outside attorneys, but this is a arbitration demand for a lot of money, and it does need someone who does this regularly to look at it. That's consistent with the conversation we had when you hired me, is that I'm not going to be able to do everything all the time. So just let me know what questions you have. I'm trying to stay above the merits of this at this issue, but this came out of left field, so I don't really have a lot to talk about the merits, but happy to answer any questions.
No, I don't think we should talk about any of the merits
No.
at all. So are you?
Excuse me, I digress. I made a mistake. I made a motion. I didn't make a motion, but I now, and if somebody will second, then we can talk all night if that's what you
Sorry,
want.
I'll second that motion.
Okay,
Okay, now.
now discussion.
Thank
Do
you.
I need to say that all that over again? I'm just kidding.
No, please. Are you going to be the point man seeking out the firms? Do you want, I mean,
Definitely.
I mean, that's how this would normally work in the corporate world. I'm the general counsel, so you would want me to vet people and make some phone calls and stuff. So I've already identified a very capable lawyer at a law firm named Kutak Rock. He gave me permission tonight to use his name. His name's Kyle Unser. He does this type of stuff.
him well. Yeah.
Good lawyer, good guy, reliable. I'd like to call him tomorrow.
Good guy, yeah.
With that
if
being
he would take
said-
that on, I'd be very happy with that.
With that being said, do we need to get SOQs from them, or?
They're professional services, right? So this is not something you would want to bid, because then you just. Oh, I'm sorry.
Like a statement of qualification or an RFQ?
We can get.
Do we need that?
I don't think we need it. No.
Okay.
No.
Need kind of ordinance or resolution showing that we're doing this.
I mean, I think you can make a motion tonight that gives me the authority to start having conversations. We're not going to have an engagement letter signed or anything like that.
Right.
To Mr. Wagner's point a second ago, like the Arbitration Association, I think has like a 14-day response time for stuff. So there are timelines that move quick. So I think whatever authority you can give me to talk to people and start moving this.
I'll amend, with that said, I will amend my motion that we authorize Mr. Farrar to move forward ASAP in acquiring support staff in this matter.
Second. And I have no further
No more
questions or
discussion? Roll call.
Jim,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Misty,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
You can move forward.
Next, we have you did say that earlier when you were reading.
Yeah, just a correction. I don't think it made it into the motion or any verbiage, but when he was giving a statement, yeah, I
No, just
think
to
we're good.
authorize to move forward for support staff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
thanks.
he said 71B or whatever. Yeah, I caught that too.
I was confused that with somebody's address, I'm sorry.
Mr. Woskoziak, do you have any council comments?
I'll keep it really, really short. I hope that people will be open-minded about this new council as we move forward. Mr. Wagner, welcome you to the council. Apologize for getting a little emotional last time. I did not think that would happen as I was planning out my remarks. It just kind of on me all at once. But I think anyone that stays open-minded and tries to view this from a neutral perspective will certainly understand that Mr. Wagner is going to come prepared for the meetings. And also for Mr. Artemone, should the move to 2 legislative sessions occur, is certainly not a reflection on anything that you've done at all. This is just to bring some expediency to some legislative process that I think has hindered us in the past getting things done. We kicked stuff down the road, sometimes 2 months at a time. So I think it'll help expedite some of the legislation that we need to get done here. Thanks for everybody for coming out and for you stuck with us. And that's all I've got.
Mr. Burris.
Thank you, Chair. Over the weekend, there was an accident. There was a motorcycle accident on 412 heading eastbound from Salem Springs back into town, and 2 Tontitown residents died in that crash. I don't know them. I know their names, Bryce and Megan McLean. They were in their 40s. He was 49, she was 40. They leave behind 2 daughters. And again, I don't know them, but I know there are people in Tontitown that did and that are grieving. So just wanted to at least make mention of them. As we head into this next month, today's June 2nd, the next time we meet is July 7th. Between now, I'm sorry, for the next cow. By the time that we meet for the next cow, our nation will have celebrated its 250th birthday. And I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I am so proud to live here. Not just here in Tontitown. I'm proud to live here in Tontitown. I'm proud to serve here in Tontitown, but I'm thankful that we live in a country where we can have discussions like this. I'm glad that we live in a place where we can have those freedoms. So I want to encourage all of you, even now, start making plans for what you're going to do to celebrate this momentous occasion, because we only get one 250th birthday. I remember the 200th. I don't think I'll be around for the 300th. But thank you all for what I think was a rough meeting in some ways. It did feel a little bit like going to Thanksgiving with my family. But just like those days, I'm still thankful to have a great meal with people that I respect despite our differences at times. So thank you all.
Mr. Wagner.
Only thing I got to say, let's not lose sight of the citizenry, and some of my remarks were emotional to some degree, but purposely on my part. But I've listened to a lot of the folks in the South Palo Alto area, and I think the city, it's high time we get in gear. I too want to echo what Mr. Woskowiak said. In no way, Mr. Larry, I mean or hope you didn't take anything about mine and Danny's work with having 2 meetings, but the city's growing and we got to get a lot of stuff moved through the pipe, and we're going to have plenty of time to still visit in committees, looks like. So anyway, thank y'all.
Danny.
Thank y'all for coming out. I want to echo my condolences to the McLeans as well. I want to also thank everybody still for reaching out to me and praying for my son. I just ask that you pray for him as the weeks go by. I also want to thank everybody here for the discussion tonight and the progress that we've made tonight. I think we've got some good changes coming forward to this body in the city, and seeing how we can help maintain the growth that we've got. Excited about the police station and seeing some plans and getting that in gear. Excited about the community building and the architect coming up here, and that's all great, and I can see the gears are turning, and can't wait to see some shovels and some excavators and bulldozers out here and getting things cracking. It's kind of like the water tower, that was exciting to see go up, and it's just nice to see all the development that's taking place. I think I want to thank Larry. We obviously have to go to city council, but if this body does dissolve and we go to, the two city council legislative sessions, I mean, there's plenty of advisory committees that will need a chair and a co-chair to those. So you most definitely can still be the chairman of a couple of those committees. So if the abolishment of this, stings a little on you on that, don't fret it. I'm sure there'll be more roles there. But with that, everybody have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Misty.
Thank you for everyone that came out to Heritage Days last weekend. Thank you to Red Door and the Tontitown Winery for sponsoring our food. We had a little lighter turnout. We're not sure why, but we had a great time with everybody that was able to make it out. Everyone really enjoyed the veterans exhibit and getting to go inside and see that. I'm excited for the progress of the police department, the community building. I'm hoping to continue to see great strides with that and the progress. And I just hope that we can continue on without foul language and raising our voices and just working as a team up here as a committee council. Thank you for everyone that stuck with us tonight, and have a good night.
And as everyone that's still here knows, this was a long meeting, a little contentious at times, not bad. I'm excited about the police getting a new building, a new community building. Great. And as far as me losing my chair here, that never even crossed my mind when I said no. So that didn't affect me one way or the other. Took a little burden off of me, as a matter of fact. But with that being said, I want to ask our attorney if he has anything to say.
I do not. I hope you guys have a good night. Thank you.
With that, all in favor of adjournment, say aye.